Perfect.
All right. Good evening and welcome to Bells Falls Area Community Television's broadcast of the Vermont High School football with Bells Falls Terriers playing host to the Fairhaven Slaters. Remember that community television is an important aspect here in Bells Falls. The station is fully equipped for you to host your own show, rent equipment, anything like that. So please feel free to reach out to Fact TV if you have any interest in hosting your own television show. Now let's get to what's going on tonight. Nate, I know you got a chance to reach out to Fairhaven here. We had a big rivalry game over the last few years. It's a budding rivalry. I know they've met in the state championship a couple times, state playoffs, off and on throughout the year. What can you tell me about this rivalry from your side?
Yeah, Joe, I had a chance to talk to Caleb Lisai, who helped the Terriers hang a banner in this gym a few years ago, and he's been assistant coach for the Slaters for a couple years now, and he didn't want to give up a lot of the game plan, but right. I think after 4 games, we kind of know what everybody's game plan is when they're coming here to play the Terriers. Yep. That's stop the dynamic duo of Basin and Connors. They have their own weapons, as well. Cahill and Caleb Long, also Derek Webb and Cody Adams, a quarterback who's only his second year. But they have some nice weapons over there, Joe, so it's going to be a handful for the Terriers tonight. Yeah,
Adams was their quarterback last year when they pulled the upset here at Hadley Field in I think it was the state semifinals. So he has experience playing against the Terriers here. From what I've seen from their team, it looks like a lot of big plays is how they score. They hit quick passes or deep. I've seen Cahill hit a few deep passes. So last week we saw the Bells Falls secondary get slightly exposed by Springfield. So I would assume that's something they focused on in practice this week. I know you and I've talked about it. Who are we expecting to step up out of that secondary for the Terriers?
Yeah, it's got to be, it's got to be everyone. The same guys we've talked about, Goyat and Reed Hill. And, after Reed had a couple of bad plays last week, hopefully he can bounce back this week, make some plays. We saw a great interception by Saul James, who just missed a couple of plays.
Right.
And then the linebackers, obviously, will be monsters. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Basin kind of shadowing Cahill around tonight, as he's probably going to be their go-to guy all night long, who's a serious weapon for the Slaters on that side of the field.
That makes absolute sense, Nate. You talked about the dynamic duo here for Bells Falls. Basin and Connors both over 500 yards rushing for the team. Basin has 11 touchdowns. Connors has 7. Those are astronomical numbers for any team. You would think those guys are going to be the key again tonight to moving the ball against Fairhaven and that offensive line. Anything else we should expect out of this team? Is there going to be a little more misdirection? Maybe Declan Lisai opening up last week against Springfield. Is that going to maybe play a little bit more into the role tonight?
That's going to be tough, Joe, because I think the athleticism of the Slaters, we kind of talked about it before we came on the air today, was, down a distance for the Terriers. Right. If they can keep it to that 3rd and 5, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 to where it's manageable, and we talked about the duo in the backfield. We can't forget about, Stephen James, who's that lead blocker up the middle. So the Terriers able to keep it 3rd and 5 or less, and go behind James, and go away from, Porter Silva, 69 of the Slaters, who we've seen on the field down there, 300-pound, 4-year starter,
strong.
captain of this team, plays both ways. Can his, battle of attrition, right? Is he going to be able to hold up all night long against the offensive line for the Terriers?
Because he's going to get pushed around, or they're going to try to push him around regardless. One thing we've talked about the last few weeks, Nate, is the Terriers, they haven't had a lot of negative plays, but the negative plays they've had have come in the way of penalties. In a game like tonight, where it's going to be so tightly contested that we're anticipating, you would think that's going to be something that's really critical tonight, is keeping focus on those, the holding penalties, the personal foul penalties that we've seen the last few weeks. You think they focused on that quite a bit in practice this week?
They absolutely did, Joe, because I had a chance to reach out and talk to Coach Thule for a couple of minutes the other day, and that was one of the things he mentioned. The penalties again. After a punt where it's you get okay field position, 15-yard penalty for a chop block or something late after the play. Like, we don't need those kind of plays tonight. Right. Minimize those and have an opportunity to continue to progress the ball down the field. But again, take advantage of good field position if you get a punt in the right spot.
Right. We talked about this before the game too. The punting game is going to be critical. The kickoff game is going to be critical because you want the opponent starting off, down inside their 20-yard line, and you want the ball out the 35, 40-yard line. So that's going to be really key, the specialists here for Bells Falls. We've seen Stevie Joslin be a weapon as a kickoff guy. We've seen them make a few extra points, a few 2-point conversions. But I would think they would want to clean that up even a little bit too, because last week while we saw Joslin get 2 touchbacks, he also hit 2 pooch punts out, 2 pooch kicks out of bounds. Cam Perry made a great extra point. So we know they can do all these things. Just tighten it up a little bit, and I think it'll be even more of a weapon for this crew. What are you looking for as far as Porter Silva? What are they going to do offensively on that line to try to neutralize the strength coming out of the guard, the nose tackle?
Yeah, again, we talked about, the big kid for Fairhaven, but again, just the IQ and the way that the Terriers manipulate their offensive line with all the big boys up front, being able to pull and being able to double. And, James, if Lovell's got a block and James gets a chip, it's 5 yards. And again, Connors has been getting to the second level before guys get hands on him.
Yep.
Tonight may be a little different. We'll see. We've had games this year that you and I have talked pre-game coming on the air. Hey, maybe this is a team that can give them a little bit of trouble, and the Terriers have done more than enough to hold home field advantage and take care of business.
Yep. I hopefully that we see the same thing here tonight from the Terriers. I just look for a little bit cleaner game out of them. I expect a couple of these guys to step up in that secondary, because I'm sure Coach Lockerbie and the rest of the coaching staff challenged these guys this week, put it on them and said, look, they're going to come at you. You've got to be ready to make plays. And if nothing else, I've seen these Terriers guys be successful in reaching what they're being challenged to do. So I would expect some big games out of, like you said, Jaden Bazin on the defensive side, Reed Hill, Saul James could play absolute big roles out there, and Goyette's been really quite good most of the season. I think last week he might have either had one go over his hands or get dropped in the bucket or something. It was like the first time we've seen him give up a catch most of the season. You've hit it on it all season. The tackling of those defensive backs is going to be critical tonight, because it's one thing to give up a 12-yard pass down the field. It's another for that to turn into a 30-yard gain.
Yeah, right. Like you said, Joe, 4-yard pass is 4 yards. 4-yard catch and 15 yards after the run's a 20-yard play.
Right.
So it's going to be essential for those guys to be able to just wrap up and make those plays. We didn't call Connor Perry's name a lot last week after we went back, kind of watched some film and, saw that he was getting double and triple teamed, at the nose tackle position. I would see that the Terriers tonight will probably move him around a little more, try to get him to the edge and, try to get him some pressure off the edge tonight for them.
Yeah, because we know Fairhaven's going to throw the ball. They like to sling it, and they've got to get a little pressure. Last week, Springfield got a little successful. They started dialing up some of those different pressures from the inside, doing a couple of those traps and whatnot, and they started to get a little pressure, which forced 4 of the turnovers for Springfield. But as we move forward here, that pass rush is going to have to show up tonight.
Yeah, and I think it will. Again, I think, my thought was that, Bazin will kind of mirror Cahill on the other side and make somebody else beat him. And, if that causes, Adams to have to stay in the pocket a little bit longer, 2 seconds longer, another 3 seconds longer, to scramble out, that's when the, Connors and Connor Perry and these other guys, Briar Barnett's made some big plays on defense all year long. So, these are these guys that will continue to make plays. Jake Tostrup, as we see, taking the coin toss out here, his leadership on defense has been outstanding with pressures last week against the Cosmos.
Yeah, he came in weak side a lot last week. Made a lot of those throws that led to the interceptions. So it looks like we've had the coin toss here. We're going to be getting ready to start the game. We'll be setting up for the national anthem. So in a few minutes, we'll join you for the play-by-play action of tonight's Fairhaven Bellows Falls football game.
Of Fairhaven High School and the Bellows Falls Terriers. Bellows Falls and Fairhaven remind participants and spectators of the requirement to behave in a respectful manner. Sportsmanship and safe playing environment are the top priorities for all school-sponsored activities. This is especially true with respect to a person's race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, national origin, ethnic differences, disability, citizenship, and immigration status. Any violation on the field or in the stands can result in game stoppages, ejections, or forfeit. For the full statement, use the QR code on the roster sheet of today's contest. Let's work together to ensure a positive, supportive, and healthy learning environment. Good for everyone involved, and have a great game, and good luck to both teams. And ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and remove your hats as the Bellows Falls Union High School Marching Band, under the direction of James Escott, plays our national anthem. Big round of applause there for the Bellows Falls Union High School Band. Great job. Set to get underway here. Fairhaven and Bellows Falls.
All right, Nate, it's game time.
Yeah, this is, it should be one of those better games of the year, Joe. That's what we're hoping for tonight.
I agree. Looks
So
like
you mentioned it, in the pregame a little bit. The kickoff game with Adams and Cahill back for, Fairhaven. Then you have Connors and Bazin back. This is, to see, these kind of dynamic players back
Right.
on these kind of kickoffs is really exciting. And we've actually seen Connor Perry as an up man make some plays this year.
Briar Barnett is
this
back
is
there as well as an up man, certainly capable of making a play as well.
Beautiful night for a football game.
Now Fairhaven is in the Rutland area, is that correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Up by Castleton.
Yep. I remember coaching some AAU basketball tournaments up in that area. I feel like we played like 4 or 5 different gyms in that area.
Sometimes you feel like you live up there coaching those things.
Yeah. And Fairhaven will kick off. Pat Connors and Jaden Bazin deep. Pat Connors receives the kickoff at about the 14-yard line for the Terriers. Takes it right up the right side, makes the man miss. He's hammered down at about the 45-yard line by Fairhaven. Or 40-yard line by Brady New of the Slaters. Good kickoff return though. So here's that right off the bat, Nate. We talked about that starting field position. Bellows Falls is on the positive side here up at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, great. Great return by Connors right there, big hit. But we've seen a lot of big hits, especially the last couple weeks. Last week in particular, Bazin came out and said, forget the jukes and forget this. We're coming out with some power football, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that kind of tone set tonight.
Absolutely. Lee Siseby under center here for the Terriers. His offensive line is Ben Rubberl, Ryan Ernst, Stephen Joslin, Brock Rumrell, and Cam Perry, or Brock Lovell, I'm sorry, and Cam Perry. Handoff right away. I was off here to
what a
Pat
block by
Connors.
Jaden Bazin.
Jaden Bazin with a terrific block there. Springs Connors, who breaks 2 tackles, 3 tackles, picks up about 25 yards there. Terrific hit by Jaden Bazin there. What a play! What a play to start that day. Connors made 2 guys miss. Terrific block by Bazin. The rest of the starting lineup for the Terriers has got Jake Tostrup at tight end. It's got Andrew Guyette as the split end, and then you've got in the backfield Declan Leasai at quarterback, Stephen James is the fullback. You've got Jaden Bazin as the tailback, and Pat Connors plays the slot back wingbacks position.
No, we just said right out of the gate, Bazin looked to set that tone, and he did it without the ball.
Absolutely. He's been setting the tone a lot this year for the Terriers. Great player. Quick handoff, and he just runs through 2 tackles like nothing right there. He's got the corner, and that is a 35-yard touchdown run for Jaden Bazin right off the bat.
This is what we talked about, Joe. We come in here, week after week, and we say the same thing. And I know Fairhaven's just getting their feet wet, and you've got to kind of feel it out. I don't think that's what the coaches wanted to start the game out tonight.
No, I don't think so either. I think I'm not sure they've been hit quite as hard as they would have been by this offensive line. And those 2 backs, they make quick, decisive decisions. And they are just in the second level before you even know what's going on. Bazin takes the direct snap, and he's got the 2-point conversion for 8-0 lead 1 minute into the game here. That's about the quickest we've seen the Terriers score here.
That's a way to come and set the tone on your home field against somebody who came in here expecting to. And again, look, Joe, a long way to go, but the block by Bazin on the corner to set the tone right off the bat. That's a great way to start a ball game.
And you got to make sure to maintain this level, though. It's one thing to come out of a big game all jacked up and get off to a quick start. You've got to maintain that level throughout and not waver, because Fairhaven's not here to give up. They've beat the Terriers before on this field, and they want to win again. But if the Terriers come out with a nice 3-and-out stop here or something like that, it could be rolling downhill quickly.
Yeah, the Slaters knew that this was, again, weather the storm. What's the emotion? A lot of emotion on both sides, and again, not the same Fairhaven team that came in here last year, but talking to Coach Leasai, he knows his guys are ready, and the coaching staff has been prepared, and again, this has been circled on both these calendars for a long time after last year's playoff game here at Hadley Field.
Joslin will be ready to kick off for the Terriers. Cahill and number 9 of the Slaters, Derek Webb back deep. Joslin kicks it as a squib kick out there, clearly keeping it away from Cahill, I think, there.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we kind of talked about, with these playmakers in the back there. You decide to kick it to Connors, but you mentioned it too. You've got to keep it in play. So,
yeah.
But and now you still get the same kind of field position, right? So you're still at the 40-yard line. So you know, it's a tough call to make as a
absolutely.
coaching staff for the Terriers. Like, do we want to try this or not? And, you know, maybe keep it away from Cahill, especially if Jocelyn can put him into the end zone like he has.
Right, because we know Cahill's a big playmaker. We've seen it all season, and they saw it last season. Cody Adams in the shotgun here for the Slaters, hands it off to number 6 of the Slaters, takes that. That's Caleb Long right up the middle for about 20 yards. Ran right up the middle, which is something we haven't seen a whole lot this year, Nate. There hasn't been a lot of yards gained up the middle against the Terriers.
You know, the little bit that we have seen, U32 tried it, you know, some and wasn't very successful. But, you know, again, the emotion to start this game out today, you know, not a huge surprise that both teams are going to come out and make some plays early.
Absolutely. They've been prepping all week. You know, they probably script the first few plays, know what they want to do. Fairhaven lines up 1st and 10. Adams takes the snap. A big reverse sweep there to Cahill. Cahill makes the man miss. And he's down the left side, and he's going to go in for a score. So that's a 36-yard run for Cahill on a quick reverse. And we talked about him early in the game, and I mean that might be why we kept the kickoff away from him. He's a quick guy, and he made one guy miss, and he was off to the races.
Yeah, this is an interesting tempo to start the game here, Joe.
Yeah.
You know, we're not even 2 minutes in, and you know, a couple of touchdowns, and you know, now it's going to be who settles in and who can weather the storm.
And first points given up by the Terriers in the first half of the season, right there.
Yeah, within 2 minutes of the first quarter, that didn't take long.
So we didn't see any passing here, but we definitely saw some quick running and some stuff up the middle. Slaters will kick the extra point here to try to cut the lead to 8-7. Kick is up, looks good.
And the kick is good.
So it's an 8-7 game here. 10.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. That was quick, Nate. We might be in for an exciting high-scoring game here potentially tonight.
That's, you know, the tempo, I think, again, very high emotions on both sides. I think both teams will kind of settle in here a little bit, and, you know, maybe the scoring slows down some. But, again, you get talented players on both sides. Both lines are good. Both skill position players. You know, you got skill position players on both sides that can handle it.
Cahill might be the quickest guy we've seen opponent-wise against the Terriers this season.
I don't think it's a question. Yep.
That was lightning fast. He was in the end zone there. That was quite impressive.
Brady News back to kick. Again deep for the Terriers. Number 3, Jaden
Bazin and Connors back deep for the Terriers.
Patrick Connors.
Number 0, Brady New of the Slaters will kick it off deep. 8-7, 10.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter at Hadley Field. New boots it deep. It's right to Connors again. Connors pulls it in about the 15-yard line. Takes it up the middle again. Oh, another nice return. He's out to about the 37-yard line for the Terriers. So the Terriers start off 1st and 10 at the 37. Connors looks explosive again tonight, Nate.
Yeah, it's, you know, we've seen this, you know, day after day from him, you know, on these Friday nights and Saturday nights, whatever it happens to be. That, you know, he plays with a purpose every time he touches the ball, and you know, it's exciting to see, you know, what Connors can do every time he gets those kind of plays.
Absolutely. The Terriers will line up 1st and 10 on the 37-yard line. Lee Sy under center with Stephen James as the fullback. Deep back is Jaden Bazin with Pat Connors lined up to the side. Lisa is going to hand it off to Bazin. Bazin's going to be blown up right away. Number 66, Jerry Kirby. Came right up the right or left guard there, and got into the backfield. One of the few negative plays we've seen for the Terriers offensively this year.
Yeah, those are going to have to be the ones you kind of figure out, you know, where you can motion or not motion, and you know, again, like everyone else that plays the Terriers, you get 10 in the box. Safety help isn't anywhere near the split end on that side of the field, and
you're absolutely right.
You know, at a team like Fairhaven who has multiple athletes and again football players.
Bazin takes the carry here off left tackle, picks up about 5 yards. It's going to bring up a one of those 3rd and longs we talked about in the beginning, Nate. 3rd and 8 here, and this is really not 4-down territory if you don't get this.
The down and distance we talked about, right? You want those 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 3s because you don't want to have to, you know, put the ball in Lee Sy's hands a ton. We've seen him make some great throws this year.
But that's not their game plan.
It's not. You know, the MO for these guys is to pound it out, and again, you know, let's hope that, you know, they can continue to you know, move it forward here.
Right. 3rd and 8 here for the Terriers, lined up at the 45-yard line of their own. Quick hitter up to Pat Connors. Connors only going to pick up about a yard or two, so that's going to bring up about 4th and 6 for the Terriers here.
One of the few times I think you'll see the Terriers that we've seen so far this year have to put the ball in the air with a punt.
I think it's our second punt of the season.
That's, again, another one of those plays, as we stand up here, we have a great view, thanks to Fact TV from where we are, Joe. And
absolutely.
Those are the kind of chip blocks we talked about in the pregame that Stefan's going to have to get those, you've got to kind of chip that guy at the line because, with a team like this, you're going to have to make sure you can get
absolutely. That. Jaden Harper with the kick, the punt. Fair catch by Cahill down there about the 22-yard line. Good kick by Harper.
Yeah, good. And again, just what you need. Swing the field position a little bit. Now your defense has to make a stop.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Fairhaven just stepped up. Now it's time for the Terriers to step up and make some plays on defense. We know what's going to happen now, so we just gotta follow through with what they're going to do and come up with plays to stop them.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to see it on that first play because the action was fast and furious. But if Bazin is opposite Cahill, those kind of reverses are going to be tough plays for him to have to go through everyone to try to get to the other side of the field to make those plays.
As we stand here now, I do believe he's lined up directly across from Cahill. And they've got number 6, Caleb Long, picks up about 4 yards on first down.
And having Bazin out there on the split also takes him out of the box. As we've seen him make tackle after tackle and play after play constantly, week after week.
He's almost like another linebacker when he's playing the safety back there.
Slater's going to play with some tempo, which is also another thing that the Terriers don't see a lot of.
Absolutely. Because you have to have offensive momentum to get there, and a lot of times this season the teams haven't had it against the Terriers.
We've talked about conditioning. Is this something that the Terriers are going to be able to hold up for all night long? We haven't seen this all season.
2nd and 5. Handoff's going to go back to Caleb Long again. Long's going to break a tackle at Jaden Bazin. He's going to deliver a little punishing blow to Reed Hill along the sideline there and pick up a first down, another 10 yards on top of it. Could put the Slaters out to about midfield here on the 1st and 10.
He'll break 3 or 4 tackles on that, and the people at home get an opportunity to see those replays. Those tackles at the line of scrimmage are the ones that got to be made.
Absolutely. You talked about it. You've talked about it all season, Nate. And tonight more than anything, it looks like it's going to be really critical. A big-time push out of the Terriers' defensive line would be huge right here.
We can hear Coach Lockerby's already getting fired up about those. Hit and wrap. This isn't a hit and hold hand. You got to be able to make those plays.
Yeah, they're not intimidated by you being the Bells Falls Terriers here. Adams under center here. 1st and 10 for the Slaters. Going to hand it to the deep man. That's Cahill in the backfield. Cahill's brought down by number 22, Pat Connors, with a great play on the far side from us over here. Going to be the first negative play for the Slaters. It's going to be 2nd and 11.
It's a loss of 1 on the play.
Looks like Connor Perry was also in on that play, Nate. He's one I would expect to see some big things from tonight. He was a little quiet last week, but I think they're probably schemed to try to get him freed up a little bit tonight.
Yeah, they're going to move him around a little bit tonight. Last week, in that nose tackle position, getting blocked by 2 or 3 guys, isn't easy for a guy his size.
Gonna be a pitch out here to Cahill again. Cahill's pushing the guys downhill. Wow, that was a strong run from Cahill. I did not expect that. I expected some quickness. I didn't expect him to push the pile 3 or 4 yards downfield.
Yeah, it looks like he came this side. That looks to be, level side as a defensive end. Getting hit, getting pushed back a little bit. That's not anything we've seen in 4 games so far this year. So,
yeah, not at all.
It's nice for the Terriers to get a little taste of a punch in the mouth and see if they can punch back.
Let's see if they can recover and play their style of football against a team that wants to play football with them tonight. Adams is going to line up under center here. He's got Long deep in the backfield for him. Going to pitch it out to Long left. Long is met by Connor Perry about 5 yards deep in the backfield. Connor Perry just shot right through that line right there. Second negative play for him on this drive. That's a big one right there. That puts it back to second 15, second 16. So while we know they can pass the ball, I don't think they want to be in these long down situations either.
No, and that's a scheme type thing. That both teams, right? Both coaching staffs doing a great job with moving guys, getting guys into a right spot. Fairhaven, hey, we got an opportunity to take this side. Bells Falls moves Perry to that defensive end spot.
Right.
Makes a great play.
Adams is in the shotgun for the Sliders. Cahill's in motion.
The zone coverage for the
Adams is
Terriers.
going to drop back and throw. Kay's got a deep man, and that's a terrifically thrown pass. It's going to be right over the top of Reed Hill on the coverage there. Number 9, Derek Webb with the perfectly thrown ball from Adams right there.
Yeah, and that's going to have to be an adjustment the Terriers are going to have, to make right off. I know we had some motion on that, but you had one split end, one guy in the slot, zone coverage by the Terriers. As you could tell when Cahill went in motion, nobody went with him.
Right.
So to have that, you got to have that safety help back over the top.
Yeah, that one-on-one, it was just too good a throw. It was too good a throw right there for the one-on-one coverage. Brady Long will look to attempt the extra point here for the Sliders. That kick is up. No good. Missed it to the right.
No good.
So 13-8 here.
No good. Fairhaven takes the lead.
Well, going to be a big drive here for the Terriers. This first time this year where they've actually faced a deficit. So they're going to look to rebound and recover from this.
Yeah, and I know, talking a little bit with Sean Burke, who's in the booth for the Terriers tonight, this is where he'll communicate with Coach Studley, and, hopefully they can make some adjustments based off of what they see on that kind of route by, Fairhaven, where you get that single coverage out there. You got, again, week after week after week, like the Terriers have been much better. Last week had a, little setback.
Yeah.
You can't have a bunch of those tonight.
Right. You're absolutely right. And Fairhaven's certainly not afraid to throw it. We've seen that in the past, and we've seen it all season.
Quick release, quick throw. So, as far as, Perry getting pressure and Connors on a blitz or Bazin or somebody on a blitz right there, you're not going to have time to get there based on the shotgun.
Right.
And the fact that it's,
It was a 3-step drop and just chuck it and throw it to a spot. And he threw it to a great spot. Connors on the receive of the kickoff again. He's going to get up to about the 36, 37-yard line. The Terriers will take over from there on their own 37-yard line, 1st and 10, trailing 13-8 with 5.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. I
would expect the Terriers offensive line to come out with a little chip on their shoulder right here. The Hogs up front, haven't been stopped too many times this year, and I think now is where to give up plays and have to punt. It's like now's the time where you kind of need to gear it up and be ready to go.
And we've talked about it all year. They pride themselves on being able to finish these games strong and be physical throughout. So this is a call for it right now. Bazin gets it on the outside. He's going to run it up the middle, off the left tackle. Picks up about 2 yards there to bring about 2nd and 8. Nice little lead block up there by Cam Perry to free him for those couple of yards. Cam Perry had his guy 5 yards downfield or so.
We've talked about a lot of the times where, Leasai's made some great throws. His best throw of the season was last week on that motion where Connors got the loop down and get that touchdown in the corner of the end zone over there, with minimal safety help and guys back for, Fairhaven. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a play that the Terriers try to run fairly early here tonight.
And that's going to be a handoff to Connors. Connors takes it off the left side. Bazin with another great block. He's going to pick up about 20 yards. Let's see who else helped free him out here. It was just Bazin on a big block on the corner again. So Connors explosive there, and the Terriers are moving the ball down the field. The big guys have definitely responded. They're pushing their guys down the field a little bit, making that contact. Pat Connors had a nice explosive play. Bazin had another great block. This is what you like to see. You like to see him. Like to see them answer.
Pat's ability to get to the second level, we've talked about all season, has been tremendous. And a couple of runs tonight is already what he's setting the tone.
Right. And Bazin's doing it with the blocking from this tailback position. It's going to go off the left tackle. Bazin bowls over the cornerback, but number 9, Derek Webb holds on there to bring him down. See, Stephen James was out there in front of Bazin, clearing out that hole. Holding penalty. So that's one of the things you didn't want right now, Nate. As you were moving forward, things were going positive, and now we talked about in the pregame, those are the few negative plays they've tended to have. This one hurts.
Yeah, and I think the quickness of the linebackers, maybe the defensive ends for Fairhaven. Again, feel it out a little. It's the first quarter with 4 minutes left, Joe. Like, okay, one mistake is one thing. Now, the IQ that we've talked about the Terriers have, like, go fix it. Don't do it again. Be ready to go.
And with where they are in the field right here, this is certainly a 4-down territory. So they've got 4 downs to get this 17 yards, at least what I'm thinking here. So Leaside behind under center here. James and Bazin deep behind him. Connors off to the wing. It's going to be the option play out to Bazin. Bazin makes a guy miss in the backfield. He tries to get the corner, but a great one-on-one tackle out there by number 8, Logan Knipes of the Slaters. Stops him from turning the corner. Nice job by Leaside to hold that to the last minute and keep that end so that Bazin could make him miss.
Yeah, those, and we look at those kind of plays where, Goyette, who's done blocks 99% of his time out on the field out there, you hope you can hold them a little bit longer to where, as Bazin gets that one-on-one out there, like that's something that Bazin wins 99.9% of the time. But, again, Goyette's asked to block most of his time out there. So, he works really hard.
There's a 10-yard gain by Bazin, gets him back to 2nd and 7 here. I think we're going to have an encroachment penalty on the Slaters. I don't believe I saw a Terrier bob their head, so I think it's going to be on, it's 5 yards on the Slaters, so it's going to get up to 2nd and 2, so they're quickly right back to it here, Nate.
Yeah, you're down in distance. This is what we talked about. Now everything's open again,
Yep, from the Stephen James.
How many times have we seen this 30-31 from James right up the middle?
Yep, you've got the James play. We haven't had the quick hitter to Connors on the comeback over here where Lovell comes out and pulls. We haven't seen that yet. So it's really quite open.
Yeah.
And that pass back is only on tape once this year that we saw last week. Yeah, that's certainly a play you can run.
This is down and distance you want to keep yourself in.
2nd and 3 with 3.5 minutes to go here. It's going to go right up the middle to Connors. Connors makes a guy miss, gets knocked back a little bit. I think he's right around the yardstick here. Right around the yard to gain, but I can't quite tell where the measurement's going to be. Well, that's going to be awful close, I think. Looks like it's going to be just short. 3rd and a yard for the Terriers. Big play right here.
It is, and this is where, they have, Big Porter Silva, 69, at D tackle. He's right over Big Steve Joslin right there.
Yep.
Who's going to man up and make this play right here? I'll take my man Stevie Joslin all day long, but, this is one where Leaside pick a side, maybe, hey, find a hole and get us a half a yard here.
Yeah, they've definitely got Silva stuffed between Joslin and Lovell over there on the right side right now, trying to clog up that hole. Bazin's fighting for it. I think the second effort might have got him there.
Nice
it
run.
did. Boy, they had him stop dead to rights, 2-3 yards deep. He made a guy miss, and he just bowled forward, got that yard.
Yeah, and you end up getting a touchdown out of this, especially if it runs the quarter out. It's not one of those runs that makes the paper, but it's huge.
And not to be unnoticed there, but on the replay, I'm noticing Cam Perry had his guy about 10 yards downfield on that play. So I think that might be why they're running so much to this left side right now. It looks like Cam Perry might be kind of dominating on that left side.
He is, and Silva's on the other side. So, again, Cam Perry's been outstanding all season long.
It's going to go right up the middle. So they tried to hit the quick hitter to Stephen James. He might have got a yard out of that. Tried to go right off the left guard there. That was Silva filling that hole.
Silva on the stop for Fairhaven. It's a gain of 1. 2nd and 9.
Boy, 69 has definitely made a few plays for the Slaters out there.
Yeah, he takes up a couple spots out there. Again, Coach Lisa, I mentioned it before the game. 4-year starter both ways, and one of the things he praised Porter Silva for was his leadership off the field as well. Being one of those captains and one of those guys that really gives the Slaters a lot to look forward to in the locker room and at practice.
2nd and 9 here for the Terriers. Ball's on the 19-yard line. It's going to go to Pat Connors. Connors makes a man miss off the left guard, then makes a man miss in the secondary, and he's in for a touchdown. So Connors, what do we got here? A flag down after the play.
Now you're going to get holding on the Terriers right in that middle again. It's right
another holding penalty. And that one, is going to be absolutely infuriating to this Terriers team because they pull 6 points off the board.
You've taken, 20, 30, 40 yards off the board already with a couple of holding calls.
Yep. And 6 points now.
You've got to figure that out. Make an adjustment whether you shrink your 3-point stance or you adjust yourself a little bit more. Or you need to communicate with the coaches. Hey, I'm having a hard time with this guy over here. Can we chip him? Can we get some extra help? whether you use Tostrup and you block down, you can't cut him because that's a penalty, but use another guy to help out.
Absolutely. So 2nd and 19 now. Lisa is looking to throw the ball. Tries to get it over to Stephen James. It's incomplete, so it's going to be 3rd and 19. Certainly not a down and distance the Terriers were looking for here.
No, coming off the, called back touchdown, open the playbook up a little bit.
Yeah, try to do something they haven't seen on film a whole lot. 3rd down and 19. And honestly, still might be 4-down territory depending on what they do here. I mean, they're at the 29-yard line. I'm not sure what Cam Perry's distance for field goals is. I know we've seen him kick some extra points pretty far back there, so I would say maybe 30, 35 yards.
I had a chance to ran into Cam and had a chance to ask him. He thought 30, 35 yards was probably something he could manage.
Yep. It's going to be a handoff to Connors. Connors makes the man miss and he's off the corner again. He's going to end up being pushed out of bounds. Tostrup did a great job on the block there. Jaden Bazin with a great block to spring him. He's going to get out about the 13-yard line or so.
You've had that play called back a couple of times. I would run it again.
Yeah, it's been very successful.
You've had a couple of holding calls. Bazin's had a nice run. Connors has had 2. Obviously you feel like you've got something working on that side over there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hesitate to give it to 22 again right here, right behind number 3.
Big 4th and 2 here early in the game for the Terriers. They give it right back to Connors. Connors is tripped up, and I'm not sure he's going to get there. And he did not get it there. Someone got a finger on his foot there and managed to get him down just about.
He tripped over his own guy.
Yep. His gun's up about a yard short. So after all of that, a couple penalties for the Terriers, 6 points come off the board, turnover on downs. What was a positive drive ended up being a little bit of a negative at the end.
Yeah, you established you did what you wanted to do. You were where you wanted to be. 6 points taken off the board. Fairhaven's going to have to try to make some sort of adjustment on that right side of their defensive line as far as that goes because, behind Bazin and James and Tostrup right there, Connors has been eating them up.
Yep.
Now your defense has got to come up and make a play. It could be down 2 scores.
Yep, 1st and 10 for the Slaters here. Terriers desperately looking for a stop. Adams is going to take it off, keep it himself. He's going to get the corner here. Boy, Reed Hill got pushed, and what might have been a block in the back there as he was definitely running down the field when he got pushed from behind. Doesn't look like anything's going to be called there.
Yeah, we don't get the full benefit of replay. We do get a little screen behind us here, but Joe, I agree with you 100% that I think the officials missed the call with Reed Hill getting shoved in the back on that long run.
Yeah. He was definitely in pursuit and then ended up on the ground. Good run by Adams there. 1st and 10 for the Slaters, though. Out to about the 35-yard line. Terriers could use a couple of negative plays here. They've got the guys up front and Joslin and Lovell and Perry to make stuff happen. It's just a matter of getting through that interior line that so far has played well for the Slaters. Caleb Long is going to be brought down in the backfield by a combination of Connor Perry and Briar Barnett. So they've made a few plays in the backfield here, but this is where you definitely have to be wary because you've seen the Slaters hit with that big strike offense on the pass game.
You really got to limit these plays again with the tackling. It's what it comes down to.
See if the Slaters try to run a play here with 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. 2nd and 12 for the Slaters. Looks like they're going to try to get this off. They do get it off. They're going to hand it off to Caleb Long. Tackle missed in the backfield, but then quickly wrapped up. Let's see what we've got here. Tackle was missed in the backfield, and then it was Brockton Lovell that came up with the tackle there after about a 2-yard gain. So 3rd and 10.
So after a quick 2 minutes to catch your breath, that both teams have kind of settled in a little bit.
Got a little more physical.
The big plays, as we've seen, just got to be limited by the Terriers here. And you have your down and distance, right? This is where you can't lose somebody. This is where you got to make sure you keep guys in front of you. You can't let guys get behind you. Last week we saw Saul James just miss an interception, then finally got one late. His IQ as being that free safety back there. This is where we want and need, somebody like him to make a play.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely someone to step up because you know the Slaters have that wild playbook right now. They could dial up any play. They can throw the ball. They can hit quick hitters. They've run a reverse. They've already scored on. They've scored on a long pass. So they do have a very varied playbook. So we'll see what they come up with here for third and 10.
And if I'm a coach for the Terriers right now, I put Connor Perry in a 2-point stance, not a 3-point stance, which he's in right now.
Yeah.
And you just pin your ears back and try to go get him right here.
Yep. They're back deep throwing the ball here. It's going to be caught out there by Cahill. Bazin with a quick tackle, but he's going to pick up the first down on 3rd and 10.
Yeah, Bazin slipped, good coverage on the play. He went to make his out route, and I think Bazin slipped a little bit right towards the paint on the BF in the middle of the field.
So it'll be a first down here for the Slaters. Now on the Terriers side of the field, the 49. Definitely a different game being played here against the Terriers tonight. They haven't seen quite this level of quickness, this physicality or anything yet so far on the season. Going to take a response from the Terriers at this point. Adams hands it off, quick hitter to, I believe that's going to be Cahill. And that's going to be, might be a face mask on the stiff arm there.
They're going to have holding maybe on the
Slaters,
tackle
maybe?
of the guard, maybe 59, this guy on the end out here, I think.
But we'll see what the call is. Currently, that'd be about a 12-yard run for the Slaters and another first down.
But, one of the things we talked about for the Terriers that was essential before the game started was down and distance. That doesn't seem to be a bigger problem for Fairhaven, who gets that shotgun, gets those quick plays, gets the snap off.
Yeah.
They don't take a lot of time to throw the ball.
No, it's very quick.
So, the Terriers have got to find a way to get off a block or two up at the front of the line and make a play in the backfield.
Yeah, or maybe drop an extra guy into coverage to help out or something along those lines. Just
right, which is again why I'm a little surprised out here. I know we got basically single coverage out here, so if they wanted to go deep, it's one-on-one.
Yep. It's going to be a handoff to Cahill here.
That should be another
holding. That should be another block in the back on Tostrup right there, but no flag. Tostrup was definitely held there, blocked in the back, one or the other. Tackle's going to be made by Briar Barnett, made another tackle there for the Terriers downfield.
Yeah, my father was an official for 40 years, and being an official out there is not an easy process.
Absolutely not.
You could probably call holding on most plays, but, the blatant, the obvious ones that we've seen called on Bellows Falls already, we need to, make sure.
And that one was right in front of us.
Make sure.
Like literally we're staring right at Tostrup
both
getting
ways a little
turned.
bit.
Adams back to throw again. This time there might be a little coverage. Nope, Goyette, I believe I saw another push-off there, but if you watch here, you'll see a push-off on number 9 before he makes the catch right there. He just pushed off on Goyette, so the referees are definitely letting Fairhaven play a little bit.
You gotta, those are some of those ones where we got to be a little tougher too for Goyette, who's again
one-on-one coverage again. He was right there.
You can't do a lot with safety help over the top on those long throws.
Yep.
But that's
Adams hasn't missed yet tonight.
That's
like 5 out of 5, I think.
Those are tough plays.
Yep.
And he was in the right position, right spot.
Absolutely.
So you can't.
It's going to be a reverse here to Cahill.
And he is going to turn the corner.
Reed Hill gets stiff arm down, doesn't make the tackle. Saul James ends up pushing him out of bounds.
Nice run there by Sam Cahill.
Boy, they're finding all sorts of ways to get Cahill the ball out here tonight.
They should. Again, very good athlete, three-sport guy there at Fairhaven, does a lot of stuff for them. Caleb Lease, I mentioned that he's one of those guys. They lost their first 2 games this year. He was out with injury. Since he's been back, they've outscored their opponents by a lot.
Yeah.
With him making these kind of plays.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the quickest guys I've seen out here this year for sure, if not by far the quickest. Adams lines up under center for the Slaters, 2nd and 6. He's in the pistol formation. Got 3 receivers out to his left. Going to hand it to Caleb Long, the up man. Long's going to be immediately tackled there. I believe it's Brockton Lovell that was in on the tackle. Yep, Brockton Lovell with the big tackle there. Got off his block and made a nice tackle there in the hole, 3rd and 4.
3rd and 5 for Fairhaven.
and one of the things we don't see a ton of is, 3 wide receivers to a side on a team that can really throw the ball, so it spreads the Terriers out.
Absolutely.
And when you have a running back like that can run the ball up the middle, it makes it tougher for the defense.
They go 2 wide here. They got Cahill split off as like kind of a split end wide left, almost in that Pat Connors position on that swing play. Adams takes the snap. He's looking to throw. He's got Cahill here in the flat, just wide open. Cahill's going to go in for the score for the Slaters. Oh, nope, they're calling him out at the 1 yard line. So it's going to be 1st and 10 here or 1st and goal, essentially, for the Slaters. Well, they're going to have to do something a bit different with Cahill here.
Yeah, I think part of it is the amount of formations that Fairhaven's thrown at Bells Falls, with the 3, with the 2, motion.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of that in high school
sweep
sports.
Stuff, toss sweeps.
Looks like, I don't think he's going to get in for the, oh, they are. They're giving him the 2. Oh, no, that's the touchdown, not the 2. So 19-8 now. So we're going to be looking for a good response from the Terriers. They did some good things on offense last time. They just had a couple penalties that hurt them. In the end, they're going to have to clean that up.
Yeah, and as we know, that penalty taken back to Connor's touchdown, this would be 19-16 possibly, game for the Terriers right now. But hey,
they got to come down and take care of business.
You got to respond, and we talked about it right there in the first quarter. You get punched in the mouth, can you punch back?
Brady New for the extra point for the Slaters. That one looks perfectly good.
And the kick is good.
So New has made 2 out of his 3. It's going to be 19-8 here.
20-8 lead with 9:20 to go.
Lockerby's over here getting the troops rallied up. I expect to see a little more animation out of these coaches as we get going here, because they know that this is a big game all around. They want these guys on top of their game, and they're going to challenge them in game here to step up.
Yeah, it's, you're in the, with 9:20 to go in the second quarter right now. You can coach them up, and you can do all the speeches and do all what you want as far as that goes. But players got to play.
Right.
And when you get to this get to this point in a game, it's that leadership we've talked about from day one when we started standing up on this bank, Joe, with Lisa and Tostrup and Jocelyn and Lovell and Bazin and Connors. Like, who's going to be that guy? Who's going to be the one that steps up and says, all right, enough is enough, and we're going to be able to put our foot down. This is our field.
Makes that statement
What can we do, to turn this thing around and swing the momentum back our way?
Yeah. Somebody's going to make a statement play for the Terriers here to turn everything. Kickoff's deep again to Connors. Connors takes it at about the 11-yard line. Slips again. Slips again at about the 26, 27-yard line. 20-8 with 9 minutes to go here in the first half. Terriers trailing the Slaters.
Webb on the special teams tackle for Fairhaven.
So we'll be looking here for, like you just talked about, Nate, this is where those leaders got to step up. Those offensive linemen are challenging each other to make better blocks and get down the field and push these guys further. Those running backs are challenging each other to make guys miss and hit harder through the hole.
Changing your game plan doesn't do anything here, Joe. You banked on James and Bazin and Connors all year long. Connors had a great first half. Bazin's had some great blocks, some good runs. You stick to what you've been doing.
Oh, absolutely. You trust these guys to do what they've been working on all summer long. This is why you do those 2-a-days in the beginning of the year, and you just keep running those same plays, is to execute at times like this.
Yeah, it's again, you've been met with a good challenge, and let's see how they respond. You get 9 minutes to go. You're going to need a touchdown before the half, and because it's Fairhaven gets the ball, starts second half. So
absolutely.
you need a response. Being down 3 scores,
it's trouble.
Isn't what the Terriers want to do. Again, you're never out of a ball game like that, but they need to respond.
2nd down and 7 for the Terriers here. Lisi under center with James and Bazin deep. Handoff's going to go off to Bazin here off the side. Bazin makes a guy miss. You've got Goyette out here with a big block. Bazin hits the corner, and he's going to go to the house. I don't see any laundry on the turf this time, Nate. I think we have a 68-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, we got to look back and see if we got any hankies down, Joe, but nothing that time.
Goyette with a great block out there in front to kind of get him on that corner.
We talked about it on his last run, right? if you let Bazin get out there one-on-one like that, it's going to be all over.
They went off that right side again for us. So we had that was Cam Perry's, or no, that was the right side is I think that's Ernst on the right side as the tackle.
Line up for the 2-point conversion.
But it's impressive to see Goyette 20 yards downfield, still making
That's
a
what he's
block
got
on
to
that
do.
corner.
We talked about in that last, not too long ago, like 90% of the time, 99% of the time, he's out there. He's a blocker, and he's has great IQ, good football player.
Yeah.
Just those are the plays you continue to make to help your offense out. No one on this team is selfish. This is
Absolutely not.
They know what they're up against, and everyone works hard in practice every day, and they trust each other. And again, we got plenty of time left, and this is still going to be a beauty.
And this is clearly a big 2-point conversion here as Lockerbie's out in the middle of the huddle for these guys.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of timeouts on 2-point conversions. I think the first week of the season when Windsor was here, and we saw 3 or 4 of those. We kind of questioned it a little bit. Hey, why is there so many timeouts on 2-point conversions?
Yeah.
Well, we've seen Bellows Falls really struggle on some of these conversion attempts, right?
Right.
We going back and looking at film and doing some homework that we've done, Bellows Falls in that 50 to 60% range on 2-point conversions isn't going to help you.
In a
But
game
you need
like
them. You
this.
need them today.
Yeah.
Right. You got to
In
have
a game
these
like
are-
this, you got to be almost 100% on those
these
extra
are
points.
these are big plays. 6-point game or a 4-point game.
Yep.
To where the next touchdown, right?
And this
gives
keeps
you
the
lead.
momentum. You make a big play here, it keeps the momentum. They get a stop, it kind of sparks them a little bit going back. So Leasai under center, James directly behind him with Bazin deep. Connors off to the swing. It's going to go off to Connors off the guard here. Connors pushes hard. I think he's going to get in with the second effort.
Oh,
Great
nice
second
effort by Connors.
by Pat Connors. Pat Connors and Jaden Bazin, Jacob Tostrup, Cam Perry, all doing a great job on that left side. And then Connors with a very physical push at the end to get himself in for 2. So that was needed, Nate.
Right, you probably got a little assist from some guys
Yeah.
on that Terriers.
Looked like Cam
that
Perry was kind of helping
push.
him a
Hey,
little
man,
bit.
You take what you can get.
But he went right off of Cam Perry and Jake Tostrup there, who opened up a great hole. Bazin let up in there too, and then it was all Connors for that last half a yard there. So great response from the Terriers team, Nate.
And all night long we've seen the speed out of Connors, and that 2-point conversion, what we spoke about right before, turns into the power from Pat Connors
Right.
to get that last little burst over the line.
Absolute strength to push through and determination, because he knew that was a big play for them, so he knew he needed to get there.
Sam Kyle deep for Fairhaven.
Let's see what Steve Joslin does with this kickoff. The last time he tried to squib it up to an up man here.
Now, the amount of big plays with the amount of time, we have 8:25 to go in the second quarter, Joe. The amount of big plays in this game, the excitement is outstanding.
Absolutely. And certainly you're not looking to kick it deep to Kai Hill, but I think they did here. Kai Hill makes a great catch there on a short hop, and he is quick right up that gap. Stevie Joslin can't quite get him. Number 19 comes and grabs him.
Tackle is made by number 19, Brody DeVicton.
Brody Davignon comes up with the tackle there to save 6. Well, I think we saw why they kicked away from him the first time.
Yeah, it's why the other way around. Like, last time they came out to receive that kickoff, Bazin and Connor switched spots, a little high five in between, maybe try to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But the Slaters weren't fooled and still kicked it to Connors, who again been explosive on his returns.
Absolutely.
So it's what do you do on those? This is why it's exciting to have great athletes on both sides of the field. Makes for a great football game.
We're seeing some great plays out here tonight. Adams under center here, sends a man in motion. It's going to be right to the up man, which is Caleb Long takes that for about 12 yards right up the middle. Looks like they might have run right behind Silva there. Yep, right behind Silva on that left side. Briar Barnett came up with the tackle downfield. So it's second and 1 here for the Slaters. Didn't quite get the first down there.
Bellows Falls 31-yard line.
Yeah, again, the multiple formations and sets and everything that Fairhaven throws at them. You go one-on-one on the outside, and they have an opportunity to throw it up top, and it's been successful the whole time. So
it has. Cahill's in motion here. They get it up to the big up man that time. Brockton Lovell and Ben Rumroll on the tackle there.
And he will pick up the Fairhaven first down.
It's a quick little fullback hitter there to get the first down for the Slaters.
Ball at the 26-yard line, 1st and 10, Fairhaven.
So look at the 1st and 10 at about the 26-yard line here. Terriers could really use a defensive stop, even if they can hold them to a field goal attempt at this point. Just that would be huge. Got Adams here under center for the Slaters. 1st and 10.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go up top a little bit here.
Hands it off to the deep man, Caleb Long. Long's going to meet a wall of Terriers a couple yards down the field there. Briar Barnett, Reed Hill in on that tackle.
Yeah, Jake Tostrup stretched that thing out. You know, the tight end got up in Tostrup, and he was able to get his hands out and extend that and get him pushed back and allowed that thing to get to the sideline where, only a couple of yards rather than 10 or 12.
Yeah.
Good job by Jake Tostrup to stretch that play out.
Good job by the Terriers to make that physical tackle on the side there. 2nd and 7 for the Slaters here. Looks like Adams is going to be in the shotgun here.
And you got Cahill up top, on Goyette, he's made a couple of throws on already tonight.
Going to hit Caleb Long on a quick hit.
Nice
Caleb Long is
play.
going to be tackled immediately by Briar Barnett in the backfield. Briar Barnett's played a nice game defensively here for the
He's
Terriers.
done a great job.
Fourth or fifth time I've called his name out here. Caleb Long is slow to get up for the Slaters here after that tackle.
Yeah, Joe, looked like one of those plays you don't like to see where someone gets tackled to get that leg kind of stuck underneath.
Yeah.
And, it's always a play you hate to see.
Oh, it happens so much though. You get rolled up on and you're trying to go down and all of a sudden the body rolls up on you. And
The kid's worked really hard tonight for the Slaters, both sides of the ball.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he's okay, but that's one of those plays. You just at any level, you watch games on Saturdays and Sundays, and you see those guys get rolled up on a lot. And
a lot of times that ends up in like a bad high ankle sprain type of thing, and so it's really good to see him walking off with very minimal limp as he goes to the sideline. Not saying that it isn't hurting him at all, but it's nice to see him just kind of walking off without that big of a limp.
Yeah, Caleb Lease, I mentioned him as one of those kids. Again, a captain on this team. He's one of those staples for the Slaters that really kind of does everything, and we've seen it all night tonight.
Right. The big 3rd and 8 here for the Terriers. Adams is in the shotgun. I would anticipate them looking to throw the ball here. They've done it a lot on these 3rd and longs.
Get some pressure here.
Adams is back to throw. He's throwing it deep again. I see the ball on the ground, so it's incomplete. Looked like he was going for Cahill, and Goyette made a great play there in the secondary. Yeah, Goyette picks up the ball just at the last second there, knocks it away.
One of the rules that they've changed over the past few years, Joe, is that face guarding rule, right? We have an opportunity to quick look, as you checked out the replay. As long as you don't put your hands on the guy, you get in position, you get to where you need to be. Don't put your hands on him, get your hands up, make a play, and
get your head turned around so you can see the ball.
Yeah.
And Goyette did exactly that. Waited for the last second. Probably waited until he saw the guy's eyes light up like he was about to catch it. And
he's going to have to make another great play right here, I think, because obviously down in distance for the Slaters at 4th and 8, gets his babies going to the air.
We got Tostrup bringing pressure. Adams is throwing deep. He's got the guy, and he overthrows him in the back of the end zone. He was looking for number 9. That's Derek Webb. So the Terriers with a big stand there. 6 minutes. They got time here, Nate.
Don't go off what you do, right?
Exactly.
I know there's 6 minutes. You got a couple of timeouts still. You have what you need. You've utilized. You found a hole. You found a spot where Camp Harry and Jocelyn and Lovell, whoever happens to be in that combination where Pat Connors has gotten you to the second level. Again, Bazin with the 70-yard touchdown last time.
Right.
Utilize what you got back there and just use your timeouts. You don't have to do anything crazy here.
James and Connors go out wide here for the Terriers, leaving just Bazin deep in the backfield. Bazin's going to run over the first guy and dive forward for about 3 yards there. So they motioned James and Connors out there basically to be lead blockers for Bazin.
Yeah, that's that physicality we talked about with Jaden Bazin again. And again, we don't hate to see kids run off the field as we see 26 for the Slaters running off. Aiden Wilkins right now. That's the guy who tried to square up with Bazin right there. Who
lowered his shoulder.
Pad level with Bazin. I'm taking him 100% of the time.
And he's winning those this year. He's absolutely winning those. 2nd and 7 with 5.5 to go here.
On the 27.
More traditional lineup here for the Terriers with James behind the back. It's coming off here to Connors off the side again. Connors gets another great block. Let's see who kicked out over there for the Terriers. It might have been Jake Tostrup. Stephen James, Jaden Bazin with the big blocks to kind of spring Connors there, with right tackle Ernst pushing everyone on the inside.
A great job by Ernst on that job.
Ernst and Lovell took everyone to the inside, and then everyone on the outside got pushed out by James and Bazin there.
We talked about that early too, right? Get those chips, get those extra blocks. Don't hold them, but pin them deep, pin them in there long enough to get. And once Connors, gets the 2 yards, it's 10 yards.
Right. So 1st and 10 here for the Terriers, about the 44-yard line. Leasai under center, hands it back to Bazin. Bazin's going to be tripped up in the backfield by Cahill. First time we've called his name on defense. He was quick to the ball there. Just back to the line of scrimmage.
He read that play off the weak side based off the formation from the Terriers, which, when you start getting into these big games and great coaching staffs like Fairhaven's had for a long time over there, they see those, they see the formations, they see what you have, and it's, you've got to be able to try to switch it up a little bit as play caller that, Lockerbie's, been calling plays here for long enough to know.
Absolutely. So 2nd and 10 here for the Terriers. James directly behind center, Bazin deep, Connors in the slot. It's going to go to Connors right up the middle. Not a lot going there. Ran it right at Silva, and there wasn't much to be gained there.
Joe, that's an opportunity where we talk a little bit about the play calling aspect for some. It's easy to do from standing up on this bank under this tent.
Oh, yeah.
But that wheel route that Connors ran for that touchdown last week, even if it's incomplete down the sideline, as we can see from up here, there's a lot of green over there.
Oh, absolutely.
With that motion, even if one guy goes out because you have no safety help over the top, that's a one-on-one.
And Fairhaven's seen it on film once this year. Bazin with a big run to pick up the first down, but there's some laundry on the field here. Let's see what we've got coming up here. It's going to be a hold downfield. That's the 3rd or 4th holding penalty on the Terriers. This one takes away a first down. Let's see what kind of play the Terriers will dial up here now. Going to be about 3rd and 12 here for the Terriers. And with the big play capabilities of Fairhaven, you certainly want to try to get at least more time off this clock if you don't end up scoring.
Yeah, so now we're gonna have some split formation here for the Terriers, which is something that we haven't seen all season with some shotgun.
Leasai in the pistol here. Good block by James. That ball's out there to Connors. Connors with a great catch. What a great catch by Pat Connors. Great throw by Leasai. Stephen James picked up a blitzer in the backfield. Executed well.
Great play by Stephen James to pick up that backside blitzer. Again, something we haven't seen. Leasai, great throw, sets his feet, eye on the prize at the end.
Yep, delivers a strike.
Good job.
Stephen James, you got to absolutely give him credit for that. That backer was coming in fast, and Stephen just lit him up. Big first down.
And you are on the 45-yard line, 40-yard line here, but you got to play with some pace.
Absolutely.
You got 2:30 left to go. You're not a big throwing team. You've got to try to get to the line and get moving here.
Bazin's going to pick up a couple here. Physical run to get 2-3 yards. 2 minutes, 22 seconds to go. Looks like we're going to have a timeout for the Terriers. Kind of talk it over here as we get going. Now we mentioned it earlier, so we're thinking Camp Harry might be able to do 30, 35 yards, and at the end of a half, comes up to it.
They could, and again, we've run that off tackle. We've had a couple of holding calls on it, but go to the well again, right? You get Connors on that. We haven't seen a lot this year either. As we've seen that option with Bazin where he gets to the outside and he's just a train
right
on the when he's out there. With Connor's speed and his ability to get to the second level, to have Bazin out there lead blocking with James up the middle, I think, that's one of those things that, again, it's easy to call plays when you're standing up here holding a notepad, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. We do pretty good at it.
It's not. It's a lot easier.
We can see it all from up here.
2:20 to go, one timeout left. Now, again, Fairhaven has all 3 timeouts. You don't want to try to get too tricky here either, right? Because a pass and an incomplete pass puts you at 3rd and 8.
Yep.
Down in distance we talked about in the pregame.
Any pass has got to be a high percentage one.
you know, and then even if you try to run it, Fairhaven's going to call a timeout. Again, to punt to the end zone doesn't do you a lot of good. So this is, you know, an opportunity for Bellows Falls. Again, I say you got to go. You got to stick with it. You got to try to go with what you got, and you know, you got Connors in the slot, and wouldn't be surprised this goes right to Bazin.
Basin's deep here with Stephen James right behind Leasai. Leasai pitches it out to Bazin. Basin's going to look to throw it. Oh, he throws it to kind of behind people there. It's a good trick play. Didn't end up working that well. The Slaters weren't fooled too much, but I think they're pretty keyed on Bazin getting the ball.
Yeah, I mean, you had the pressure, you know, on that because Connor leaks out into the flat looking to catch a pass, and they had good coverage on Goyette down the field. Yep. 2 guys on him. Again, 3rd and 8. Here we go. You know, you're going back to the run here. Move the clock a little. You got to think
Absolutely.
if the Fairhaven stops them short of the first down, it's a timeout and, you know, an opportunity to get the ball back.
So Leasai under center. It's going to go off to Connors off tackle there, and they're gonna blow that one up this time. This is going to be a 4th and 8 here for the Terriers. I'm not sure here. It looks like Leasai's getting a play call. So I think the Terriers might be going for this here.
I'd go on 2, right? This is where you go on 2, go on 4, whatever you need to do. Try to draw them off sides. Then you have a 4th and 2 that's manageable. 4th and right?
Yep.
You know, something like that, or you take a delay game and you try to get the pooch punt down in there, especially if Fairhaven's not going to call timeout, which surprises me, having all 3 left. And, you know, their big playability that we've seen all night long. A couple of 70-yard touchdowns, long throws over the top of Hill and Goyette out there.
Maybe they're also content to go in without trying to make that mistake and try to push the envelope at the end as well. Well, now the Terriers take their 3rd and final timeout.
Which again surprises me a little bit there. I don't know why you maybe don't take the delay, you know, move it back 5 yards.
Yeah.
Maybe you do it on the punt right here, but now you have no timeout, so it doesn't give you a lot of play calling ability.
Right.
If you did, you know, hey, we got them offsides, it's 4th and 3. You know, now what? Now you're still going to probably pooch punt it. So, you know, I would have taken. You know, it seems like the punting by Harper's been successful for the Terriers.
Yep.
You know, you're only going to net probably, what, 15?
20, 25 yards.
Yeah, 15, 20 yards right now if you kick it into the end zone, which with a minute left still gives Fairhaven an opportunity again. You would got to think that they would probably try to go up top to Cahill at least once.
You would think so. They've been quite successful at it for most of the evening, so. So it'll be Harper back to punt for the Terriers for the second time tonight.
Maybe their play calling is a little, you know, a little off without having Caleb.
Oh, it's going to be a fake here. It's going to be given up quickly to Pat Connors, and Connors breaks through.
God.
Breaks a tackle, breaks through another tackle. What a play call by the Terriers. What a play call. They call it better on the field, Nate.
Unbelievable.
I'm trying to. Pat Connors made 2, 3 guys tackle on that, or missed tackles on that. What a play, Nate. Great blocking on the interior of that Terriers offensive line to spring Connors through, and what do we know, Nate?
They take 45 seconds to question, you know, what they're doing, and you know, Lockerbie pulls a rabbit out of the hat with that play. Unbelievable run by Connors right there.
Absolutely. So physical, so strong, and just what a run. Absolutely
Great play call right there.
Great blocking on the interior of that Terriers punt team to spring him. I mean, he got into the second level, and that was a great play call by Lockerbie. Looking for a big 2-point conversion here for the Terriers. Leasai's under the center. He's going to throw it. He looked for Tostrup on the outside and didn't get it, didn't complete it. So the Terriers are going to be 22-20 lead here. What a first half, Nate.
Oh, what an absolutely great play call. Again, you know, we just had the conversation on how easy it is to call plays from up here, and Lockerbie pulls one out. Unbelievable. Great job by Bob to make that play call right there. Gutsy play.
Absolutely.
You know,
what a time. I mean, you missed that, and the Slaters are starting off at the 40-yard line with a minute to go and 3 timeouts and a big play offense.
Yeah.
That could be an 8-point deficit going into the half with the Slaters getting the ball. Instead, it's a 2-point lead currently for the Terriers, who now have to play hard for the next minute and 18 seconds. They cannot give this lead back at this point.
Absolute great back and forth ball game.
Absolutely.
You know, both teams come out with big shots. You know, Bellows Falls gets a little gets a gut buster with the Connors TD called back on the holding call, move back, turn it over on downs. Fairhaven goes right down, scores a touchdown.
Yeah. Gets it stopped, scores again. Joslin this time kicks it deep over to the other side. This is going to be number 9. That's Derek Webb for the Slaters. Gets out to the 35-yard line. That might be the worst starting field position we've seen on a kickoff yet tonight.
Yeah.
Pat Connors has been explosive. Cahill's been explosive. I mean, that might be the least we've seen one brought back yet. Got a minute 13 to go here for the Terriers. Are they going to change it up on defense, what they do a little bit here, to maybe swing a guy in the back a little bit to prevent that big play? Or what do you think we're going to see here, Nate?
You keep them in front of you. You know, make the tackles, make the plays you're supposed to make. You got 4 wide receivers right here. This is a tough formation for the Terriers.
They're looking deep over here again. Oh, what a catch. What an absolute catch there by Webb. What a catch. Reed Hill had good coverage there.
The big, not great coverage. I mean, he was in the right spot.
Oh, it was Easton Adams, I'm sorry, on that coverage. He was right in the right spot. What a catch.
What a great throw.
Over his head and falling to the ground. That's a remarkable catch for a high school kid to make. 58 seconds to go here. Adams lined up in the shotgun again. 3 wide to the right again.
Full slate of timeouts.
Webb down here to the left. Adams is rolling right. Gets it out. Oh, that ball's dropped by number 0. Brady New drops that pass.
And 10 coming up from the 31.
It's a chance to catch their breath here for the Terriers a little bit, maybe refocus. 46 seconds, got to come up with stops.
Yeah, and Connor's in the flat right there, so that's one of those plays where if he catches that, it might benefit the Terriers a little bit, although you have 3 timeouts. So,
yeah,
Connors can make that tackle and, it takes another 5 or 6 seconds off the clock.
Or makes them use one of those timeouts. So Adams will be lined up in the shotgun again here. Again, 3 wide to the right. Just Webb down here left. Adams in the shotgun, sends Cahill in motion. Adams has got a little pressure. Oh, what a play by Saul James! What a great play by Saul James to jump the route and knock the ball down. Very good play.
Yeah, we finally saw a little pressure from the Terriers up front too.
Yep.
Right? Flushed him out of the pocket a little bit. Making Adams throw off his
I missed the numbers
foot.
that got the pressure to force him out of the pocket there. As I was focused down the field, but I would guess it was that interior line of Connor Perry or Brockton Lovell or Stephen Joslin that was putting that pressure on there.
First time the Terriers have made Adams throw off his back foot the whole time tonight.
Yeah.
And, that's a little bit more of what they need to do.
And that was a good learned lesson by Saul James of that near pick 6 last week that turned into a big 40-yard run for the other team to just knock that down.
Yeah, great. We talked about it in the pregame. Those are just plays that we know Saul can make, and a great job right there. And
don't try to do too much. Just make the smart play. Get the ball down on the ground. Nothing bad can happen with the ball on the ground. 40 seconds to go here. This is exciting, Nate.
I would, love to see where there's been another half of football that's looked like this in the state this year. I know there's been a ton of good games. Those Division I teams are outstanding.
Yeah.
Hartford's been piling it on people week after week, but where we have this opportunity to come here and watch this Purple Gang team every single week, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And we knew Fairhaven would come in here and they're battle tested and would fight hard and make this a game, and we couldn't ask for a better 24 minutes of football.
Yeah.
Not quite over yet, but
it's certainly lived up to its expectations to this point. What a game between 2 just absolute powerhouse teams in the state.
We talk about the running from Bazin and Connors also together, 4 interceptions on the season. So
right.
wouldn't be a bad time to see some hands out of one of those guys right now. Tip a pass or make a big pick and make a play.
You're so right, Nate. You're so right. Adams takes the shotgun snap. He's looking deep again. He's got Cahill over here. Number 8 kind of fell over. That was Goyette fell over, and Cahill's going to score. So that one hurts a little bit. Goyette kind of slips back here and loses his man. So that's a tough break for the Terriers after getting all the momentum on the fake punt. That's 26-22. We'll see how the extra point goes here for the Slaters.
You would think Fairhaven would probably go for 2 right here. Makes it a touchdown game.
Yeah.
They're going to kick it.
Looks like they're kicking it.
a lot of hands in the air from Coach Lorendo and Lockerbie on that. Wondering what happened on that, on the broken coverage out there.
Yeah. And that one's going to be up and good as well.
And the kick is good. So with 32 seconds.
So you got a 5-point game now with 32 seconds to go. The Slaters answered big time there.
Yeah, and we thought that even with the punt, with 3 timeouts in the half, even if Bellows Falls punted, like we said, if the ball's on the 20, great play. You thought you steal the momentum back, but this big playability, and the Terriers just struggle with that. Anything longer than that 10-yard out, 10-yard in,
Yep.
anything that's of sufficient yardage, that's one-on-one is just been tough for them to handle all night long.
Yeah, absolutely. They've definitely given up some of the big plays on defense here through the pass game for sure. Well, we'll see what they come up here with 32 seconds to go. We'll see if the Slaters kick it deep or if they try to squib it and keep it out of Connors and Basin's hands, because we certainly know Connors or Basin could turn this around and take it back the other way.
Yeah.
They've kind of kicked away from Basin most of the night, and Connors has put the ball at the 40-yard line just about every time. So we'll see what they decide to do here. They're going to boot it deep. It's going to go to Connors again. Connors takes it about the 9. He's running hard, but he's going to be tackled about the 35, 36-yard line there. So we got 26 seconds to go here in the first half. 27-22 in favor of the Fairhaven Slaters here at Hadley Field. See what the Terriers do with 26 seconds to go and no timeouts.
Interesting to see what they do here. I mean, if you don't go off tackle, I would assume that Leaside takes a knee and you just head over to the dugout and make a plan for second half.
I certainly wouldn't anticipate them like chucking one down the field here, giving up an opportunity for a pick six.
A handoff here is.
Leaside under center, 1st and 10. Hands it off to Basin over here. Basin's going to run hard, but he's going to go down at after about a 3-4 yard gain. 18 seconds to go here as the clock's ticking away. Leaside's hustling out there. Looks like he's going to try to get one more play off before the half. 5 seconds to go. Leaside under center. Takes the snap. They hand it off to Pat Connors. Connors has some room. He's got a little room out there. Can he make a guy miss? Makes one guy miss. He's got Cahill out there. Cahill pushes him out of bounds, and about the 25-yard. Little excitement there. If we had another 15, 20 seconds, we might have another play. But very, very good first half, Nate. Unfortunate for the Terriers that they find themselves on the back end of this after what was a really good end to the first half until it wasn't.
Yeah. Again, excitement from Connors right there. Fairhaven had dropped some guys back to make sure that that big play really didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, you can't get much more exciting first half of football, in high school in the state of Vermont.
Right. Kind of what we expected. Fairhaven has a bunch of big plays. Bellows Falls is trying to enforce their will. We'll see which side comes out here better in the second half. I mean, that was a great, exciting first half of football. A lot of excitement, a lot of exciting plays. What do you expect for the Terriers to make for changes as they go into the halftime here? The
only deflating part, I think, for the Terriers, besides the big plays is, giving up that late touchdown because Fairhaven gets the ball to start the second half, so that could put you down in a position where you need to open the playbook probably more than you want to. If your defense can't step up and make a play, I anticipate the defense steps up and make a play. It's time for a turnover.
Yeah.
It's time for a big play. It's time for a sack. Something good for the Terriers to happen here to start the second half.
Absolutely. And with that, we'll join you again for the second half of this game as we finish up the Fairhaven Slaters and Bellows Falls Terriers. Join you in the second half. All right, welcome back to Hadley Field here on the campus of Bellows Falls Union High School for the second half of the Bellows Falls Terriers versus the Fairhaven Slaters. Exciting first half, Nate. Terriers trail by 5 points with the Slaters getting the ball.
Hey, 24 minutes of football here, Joe. This could be one of those who's got the ball lasting, but the Terriers are going to have to come out here and make a statement right off the bat and stop the Slaters offense, which has been pretty prolific all night long in the air.
Absolutely, and you mentioned it at halftime, Nate. It wouldn't be surprising at all to see them come out and try to hit a big play right off the bat. Reverse here to Cahill. Cahill's lit up by Jacob Chostrup down there. So they tried to do a little razzle-dazzle. Tostrup was not fooled, and absolutely perfect form tackle there by Tostrup.
Yeah, Connor Perry in on that too. He's one of those guys on these kickoffs all the time. Seems to be one of the first guys down there.
So the Slaters will start off at probably their worst field position of the night here at about the 30-yard line of the Terriers. Or their own Slater side of the ball. 1st and 10 here. He's going to go to the deep man, Cahill. He breaks through. Somehow he got through all of that and picks up about 6 yards. Boy, he must have just snuck right through that because it looked like he was dead to rights in that inside of there, and he just came out of there still going.
Yeah, Terriers, you know, right there, right at the point of attack, and you know, Cahill, he's a pretty tough guy.
Player, man.
A tough
Holy
player.
Cow. They got a good ball player in him. So we had a 2nd and 4 here in the third quarter. Adams under center for the Slaters. Takes snap, gives it right to the up man there. Bowling forward. It's going to be number 46 for the Slaters. That's 46 is John Hutchins with the first down carry for the Slaters. Big fullback.
We're going to mark them just short. We don't have the great electronic measurements that they have on Sundays, but
good call, Nate.
The 3rd and maybe the nose of the ball here.
Yeah. Wouldn't be shocked to see him do basically the same exact thing, and they do just that. Hutchins gets the ball again. This time does fall forward of the line to gain, and he'll pick up the first down.
Yeah, Fairhaven to come out, you know, the first 3-4 plays here, establish the ground attack a little bit, you know, maybe try to get the Terriers defense to suck in a little bit, especially on the inside, you know.
Yep.
Look for probably some motion, maybe a jet sweep or an opportunity to try to go up over top here. And
we're going to have Adams lined up in the backfield in the shotgun with Hutchins and Cahill on either side of him. 1st and 10 for the Slaters. Going to go out here to Cahill. Cahill with a nice little move again. Breaks another tackle, but he's held on to nicely by, I believe that's Connor Perry. Yep, Connor Perry held on to him there to pick up to minimize that gain to about 2 yards.
Yeah, Perry all the way from the other side of the field to make that tackle. You know, one of the things you teach at the younger level when kids are in that, you know, 5th, 6th, 7th grade is, you know, those defensive ends to be able to box that guy in and send it back inside. And Tostrup has done an outstanding job of that all night long on his side of the field, keeping guys from getting big plays, not extending out, not getting to where they want to get to. So Tostrup's done a great job out here tonight.
Big play here, 2nd and 8 for the Slaters. Terriers could really use a negative play here. Going to be Cahill on the sweep. Gets through a few people. Big hit there by the Terriers. I believe that was 57. 57 of the Terriers, I think, delivered the tackle. Yep, that's 57. So that's Rylan Ernst coming up with that big tackle there downfield. It'll be a 3rd and 5 here, so he held him to about 2-3 yards. And with Cahill, that's impressive because he's a quick guy who picks up yards quickly for them. Adams lined up deep.
In the gun with single coverage, you got man with Bazin on Cahill, as you can see the motion. Single coverage out
Quick
here.
Quick hitter to Webb. Boy, that might have been a big tackle by Reed Hill to keep him just short.
Going to be right at the stick again. That's going to be close.
It is going to be close. Let's see where they mark it. Great tackle by Reed Hill right there. So it is. It's fourth and a long one here. They seem to like to hand the ball off to the Hutchins right up the middle on these positions, this spot here. I would assume that, I believe they like to run Hutchins right behind Silva to pick up this 1 or 2
They
yards.
get quarterback sneak right here by Adams. Probably not a bad thing. You got a full yard, right?
Yeah, it's a long yard here. Oh, we got something here.
Got a false start.
Oh, that's that. So they were going to try to run the sneak on a no snap there. That is huge for the Terriers. So now they got to But now they got to buckle up those chin straps if they go for this 4th down, because it's certainly a passing down here.
With all these subs coming in right now, you assume this might be a punting situation, depending on the field position.
It does look like Adams is back deep here.
Yeah, again, we've seen the fake once tonight. Fake this out.
Out of nowhere.
Outstanding play call. The athletes that the Terriers have, or that the Slaters have, this is a long way to go, 6-7 yards right here. So.
And I tell you what, that tackle by Reed Hill stands out even more now that they got that penalty. Punts deep to Bazin. Bazin makes the first man miss. He's trying to get to the corner here. Cuts back in the middle. This is another 2-3 guys. Picks up maybe an 8-9 yard punt return. Exciting 8-9 yards. Jaden does not go down on that first contact much.
Yeah, you love to see those things go in the air with him and having an opportunity to return them, because you just don't know what's going to happen. We've seen a couple of those go to the house already this year.
He's an exciting player. So that was a big defensive stop there. Reed Hill with an unsung stop there. Gave up the catch, but then stopped the guy a full yard short. Led to a penalty, then the punt. So big unsung play right there by Reed Hill.
Absolutely one of the keys to the game we talked about. 7-yard gain's a 7-yard gain, not a 19-yard gain.
Exactly. So Lee Style line up in center with Bazin and James directly behind him. Connor's in the slot. 1st and 10 for the Terriers on the 40-yard line. It's going to be Bazin here on the left, going off right tackle. Makes a guy miss. He's got the sideline. He's got to beat one man. Number 6 is stiff arm, and there goes Bazin. Bazin takes it to the house. We're looking at a 70-yard touchdown run by Jaden Bazin there. Got around the corner again, and he was just gone. Just talked about how exciting a player he is.
We'd like to say the Terriers stole the momentum, but we saw the way this game started tonight, Joe, and but first time that the Terriers made the Slaters punt, right? So he came out of the second half, great energy, great juice. I got to think that those, all those guys in there with leadership, it's so helpful when you have those kind of guys that are over in that dugout.
Direct snap to Bazin on the 2, and he just runs over a man and goes in. I tell you, Nate, we haven't mentioned the 2 guys a lot tonight, but they've run a lot of successful off tackles. So Ernst and Cam Perry have been doing a heck of a job on the outside, as well as Jacob Tostrup kicking his guy out to the outside, allowing James and Bazin to get up there and clear guys out when they're not carrying the ball.
Right. As we initially talked about, not going to get your name in the paper probably a lot tonight with any carries. Steph James, who's he kicking out? Who's he hitting? When we go back tonight and we do our homework, for next week's game, and we look at film and we watch where we're, what these guys are doing, that's when we can also pick things up. And it's so many small things that are so big in the grand scheme of it all that,
And then at the same time, we're talking about those tackles. The interior linemen are keeping Silva off of that guy. So you got Lovell, Jocelyn, and Rumroll working their tails off to keep Silva out of that backfield.
And the Terriers pull this game out tonight. What's going to be the headline tomorrow? The dynamic duo.
Right.
It does it again, and.
But both Connors and Bazin will give all the credit to those guys up front. They're going to try to run. Nope, they're going to fake the reverse. It's going to be Webb coming out here.
Going to be nice hit. Fumble.
It's a fumble. What do we got here? Who's got the ball? Bellows Falls, number 75. Cam Perry comes up with the play. What a play. I think he might have been, that's
Tim Fletcher.
Tim Fletcher with the recovery.
With the hit and the recovery.
Big play by Tim Fletcher. Sophomore Tim Fletcher, huge play.
We got a flag after the play, which looks
Probably
like it's going to go against the Terriers.
Probably a celebration penalty.
Which, again, very unfortunate if that's the call, because you can't have those, Joe.
Get off the field, slap your feet, slap your teammates.
It's good to be excited, but...
Yep. That's exactly it. Oh, no, it's on Fairhaven. Wow. Well, we were off there, Nate.
Again.
Same thing goes, though.
But you get, again, that's tough. You've had a momentum most of the game. You come out, you punt,
big play.
You give up a big play, you give up a fumble, a little bit of frustration. Because if you give up another touchdown to the Terriers right here, they've stolen everything that you've built for 24 minutes to start this game.
And we haven't seen a whole lot of that Pat Connors swing play where Brockton Lovell pulls out for him and clears out. And it might be a time for that with a little motion play here.
It wouldn't hurt to just, again, do what you do.
Lisa under center, Stephen James. Oh, right back to Bazin. Off
Same
that
play.
Right tackle. And I'm just going to look over here. Jaden Bazin takes it to the house for another score.
clearly found something that's working on that side of the line, because it's been all night long for the Terriers.
So Terriers go off the right side there. Cam Perry coming up with another big clear out block, bringing his guy in. Boy, Jaden Basin's found a rhythm here.
You know, as we had an opportunity to enjoy a slice of pizza and talk about the game at halftime, Joe, I don't think either one of us talked about this happening.
No, I didn't see this coming. 5 minutes into the second half here, and the Terriers have had to stop. 2 big scores. Jaden Basin looks like an absolute train wreck out here in the second half. He's just taking names. And Pat Connors is going to go in. Well, Nate, you hit on it at the beginning of the game, the importance of these 2-point conversions. I think they're 5 for 5 tonight. Which is something we haven't seen over the last couple weeks. So it's nice to see them clean that up. And it was nice to see the laundry go on the field for the Slaters, and Bells Falls absolutely took no time to get on the board there.
You know, one of the things we also haven't seen with a lot of the blowouts that the Terriers have had this year is the sideline, right? Great excitement out of the Terriers to start the second half today.
Yeah, Tim Fletcher became the most popular guy on the sideline about 3 minutes ago here. Sophomore offensive lineman suddenly became the most popular guy, and then bang, Jaden Basin to the house, and it's a whole different ball game now all of a sudden with an 11-point lead. You can't rest though, because Fairhaven can score.
Seen it. We've seen it all night long. You know, the big playability. You know, I don't know what the Slaters have done since, you know, Caleb Long's gone out of the game. I don't know that we've seen him back in.
No, I don't know if we have either.
So I don't know if that's maybe hindered the offense a little bit for what the Slaters want to do.
Yep.
But we do know the big playability is there to go to Cahill and Derek Webb, who made a great, unbelievable catch down here.
We're going to have a squib kick, but it's going to trickle out of bounds here.
I don't know, if I'm Fairhaven, I might make him kick it again. You know,
Absolutely.
You have an opportunity to get yourself
you have
a return.
some big play potential. I mean, you certainly probably want it to go to Cahill, where especially since Webb put it on the ground last time there. It looks like they might be kicking it again. Nope, they're going to walk it off to the 35-yard line here, where the Slaters will start off 1st and 10, trailing by 11 points. Biggest deficit we've seen tonight. But you've now got the sideline in it, like you were mentioning, Nate. The crowd's into this game now, which is an overwhelming Bells Falls crowd in this place tonight.
I mean, unbelievable turn of events right here in the second half. Now you have to, you have to keep it. You can't just miss a tackle here. You know, you talked about Reed Hill's tackle. You got to make it right here. Here comes a pass play.
Yep, rolling
right
out.
here. Great coverage for the Terriers.
Pushes Briar Barnett, gets him pushed out of bounds. Maybe a yard loss for a sack there. I'm not 100% sure, because the yard marker went down as Adams got over there. It's going to be a no gain, so I think that's technically a sack, because he just barely got back to the line of scrimmage. So Briar Barnett gets in there for the sack there.
Right.
A lot more energy out of the Terriers in the second half, Nate.
Right, as long as you contain it in the right way, right? You want to be excited, you want to be fired up.
But you don't want that laundry to come out from it.
But at the same time, you know, hey, still got to make a tackle. I still got to fill a gap. I still got to fill my hole. I still got to get my guy.
Got some motion over here. They're bringing Webb. Oh, that's overthrown. So maybe things are speeding up a little bit on Fairhaven here as they see a little deficit and little pressure coming out of the Terriers, and they've made some plays defensively. I mean, that was overthrown by a bit.
Yeah, and, you know, halftime adjustments, we usually talk about those. You know, I think today is one of those days where you're down, you know that you've played okay, you know, and the very first game of the year we talked about Windsor, big-time players make big-time plays.
Right.
That's what the Terriers have done here in the second half.
Absolutely. The big players have stepped up and made those plays, and we're just seeing it, where they don't tire, and this is huge. Oh, it's a big pressure, but big pickup by Hutchins. That ball is going to be overthrown. Good coverage downfield by Reed Hill, but Cody Adams threw that ball way over everyone's head. Good pressure there. I think it was Connor Perry on the pressure. Got picked up by Hutchins and pulled away, but made Adams get off his spot again.
Yeah, I don't see, you know, and unless there's already, you know, players in position out here, I don't see a lot of substitutions like we saw in the last punt for Fairhaven. This may be a hey, you know, we're down 11. This is our opportunity, because if we punt and then give it back to them,
it's done.
You know, and here they come now. So now you've got to think that the back judge, I don't know where the play clock's at this point. I know it was an incomplete pass, but you know, seems to be taking a lot of time for the Slaters to get everybody in and get everybody set.
I'd watch one of those fake punts here too, because like you said, this is a critical moment in this game. Nope, going to be a boot down to Basin. He's going to fire that one away. He's going to trickle out of bounds there. About
good
27,
directional
28-yard line. Yep, they just wanted to keep it out of Basin's hands, which who can blame him? He's got 2 touchdowns in the first 5 minutes of this half.
You know, we saw Jasinski last week. You know, the last time we were here for the Cosmos, he did the same thing. Just, you know, it's not nothing earth-shattering, but, you know, to kick it 30, 40 yards and not let, you know, them return it for 20, 30 yards.
You get that 40-yard net, which is just huge. And it's a battle of field position when you're trailing. You can't give them the short field. You got to do everything you can to slow it down when you're
You got to think the Terriers are pinning their ears back right here, jogging to the line of scrimmage, ready to just attack the Slaters here.
Yep. See if they continue going off this right side here. Rylan Ernst and Brockton Lovell. Yep, going
same
right off
play
this
again.
side.
I mean, this is
Rylan Ernst just turns his guy inside. Tostrup takes this guy out. Stephen James comes in and clears everyone out. Lovell and Ernst just blocking down, and then you got Tostrup blocking out, and then James just coming in, clearing out. It's executed so well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously found something on this side that's continued to work for them, and
Fairhaven's moved Silva over, so they're trying to stop
the holes
that.
are gigantic at this point.
So with Silva on this side, you got to give a lot of credit to Brockton Lovell and Rylan Ernst for the running game that's come out here in the second half. They have absolutely overpowered that defensive line of the Slaters to start this half. It's going to go right to Connors. Connors is going to pick up about 4 yards off the left side there. Try something a little different. Go off the left side there. So that time they would have run between Joslin and Ernst. Pick about 4 or 5 yards. Good first down play, though. That down and distance you like to talk about, Nate.
Yeah, you know, and right now, so you know, another 3 yards here puts you right into that 3rd and 2, third and whatever you want to run at that point is.
And they are rolling right now. Bellows Falls is executing very well. They're hitting their blocks. The backs are fast. Bazin, he's not going to go anywhere this time.
You know, I don't know why you don't just keep going to the well. I mean, it's worked every single play. You know, the first 3 or 4 times you ran off that right side of the offensive line.
It's been 2 touchdowns and a first down.
You know, you try to go to that left side, and it's been, you know, you've gotten 5 yards on 2 plays.
Yeah.
Tough 5 yards, too.
Yep.
You know,
it's been a lot of contact up over there. I wouldn't be shocked to see that right tackle play here again.
Yeah, you get Connors out here right in the slot to be the lead blocker.
And Ernst and Lovell have just absolutely been dominating here in the second half, opening that. A little quick hitter back to Connors. Connors slips through, picks up maybe 2-3 yards. It's going to be 4th down and 3-ish yards, 4th down and 2, 4th down and 3, something like that. See what they come out with. Looks like they're going to leave the offense on the field for this play.
I mean, you come right to this right side, right? You've dominated it the entire time.
Absolutely.
Hey, we're going on 2.
Yeah.
You know, even this is a situation where, hey, you know what? Maybe they think we're going on 2. We'll go on set. Let's go quicker.
Get it out
you
here.
know, and get to this right side, and you know.
Absolutely. We got Tostrup over here now too, so it certainly is set up the way they've been running it. Here it comes. Yep. Another play. Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Yep. Bazin with another stiff arm. Then it's another guy missed down the right side. Another score. Well, we talked about it, Nate. You can't give enough credit to the job that Ernst, Lovell, Tostrup are doing on that right side of that offensive line right now. Silva's lined up the opposite of them, and they are absolutely just clearing people out right now.
And I don't know if Fairhaven needs to make an adjustment as far as the linebackers go, you know, because I don't think it's the defensive line that's holding it up. I think that the linebackers on that side have been making the plays for the Slaters.
Yep.
But this is, you know, to just go to the well as many times as you want, and it's 70, 60-yard touchdowns.
Yeah. And then Bazin stiff arms the guy, makes another guy miss, and it's a house call every time.
You know, at this point, we don't have the opportunity.
2-point conversion. Connors is going to swing out here, and he's going to go in. So another executed extra special to play.
You know, we don't have the magic to, you know, keep track of every single yard here. But if Bazin isn't well over 200, I'm shocked.
Yeah, me too.
Again, you know,
Connors is over.
100. You know, he's over. You know, even with the couple of penalties in the first half. I mean, this, you know, we call them the dynamic duo to start the game out today, and you know, for close to 1,300 yards and 17 touchdowns before tonight.
Right.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, they've put up another 400 yards and another 5 touchdowns. Basin's got 3 and Connors has 2.
I mean,
is that the right?
Pretty remarkable.
Yep. And then I think they both got the 2-point conversions on top of it. So.
And we talk about that right side of the Terriers line. Connors has been in the slot on all of those plays.
Absolutely.
He's made a block on every play.
Yep.
Tostrup has made a block on every play.
Yep.
So to go back to the not being selfish for the Terriers, it's unbelievable to watch.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we get the ability to turn around and watch this replay too, and you get to see the two offensive linemen just block down, and then everyone else kick out. It's an unbelievable, efficient offense they're running. Joslin with a big boot here. It's going to go to, that's Webb over there. He's going to take it up. Oh, that's a big tackle by Colton Colburn on the special teams play. Well, the energy and momentum has certainly shifted here in Bellows Falls, Nate.
Colton Colburn.
What a great tackle.
Absolutely. That's a special play.
Yeah, this is the most we've seen the Terriers fired up all season.
And it's a couple different names. We've called Tim Fletcher on special teams, Colton Colburn now on special teams.
First and 10 Slater from their own 25.
So we got Adams in the shotgun. Tostrup bringing some pressure. It's going to be a pass out here. No, going to be falling complete as Webb kind of lost his footing a little bit. Tostrup got right up in the face of Adams there. So we're starting to see the Terriers' defensive line apply a little pressure here.
Yeah, and again, like I mentioned, hopefully, Webb, who went out of the game earlier, Caleb Long, who went out of the game earlier with that injury on that rough tackle.
Yeah.
It seems that maybe the Slaters' offense is, petered out a little bit.
Yeah.
We still know Cahill and these other guys can make big plays, but it seemed to, the dynamic has seemed to change a little bit. Now
and Lovell gives chase out there. Lovell almost tracked him down, forced Adams to throw off his back foot again.
Yeah, and you mentioned it right off his second quarter. Hey, Adams is perfect now.
Yep.
Not so much anymore.
No.
He's really struggled, and the Terriers are getting him off. Back foot throws, flushing him out of the pocket a little bit.
Lovell's had some pressure. Tostrup's had some pressure. We're starting to see them kind of overpower a little bit, and what we would expect to do with the athleticism and strength of that line. You kind of expect to see this, and it's good to see it happening. So Adams dropping back here on 3rd and 10. Tries to get rid of it. Oh, that ball's almost picked off by Reed Hill, knocked away by Pat Connors, almost caught on the deflection by Reed Hill. Going to be an incomplete pass, and 4th and 10 now for the Slaters.
Pressure again by the Terriers.
Absolutely.
This is.
I mean, they can pin their ears back a little bit now because with the running back out, it is a one-dimensional offense all of a sudden.
It really seems to be, and again, we'll try to catch up with maybe Coach Lisai in the next day or two, to check in on Long to make sure that he's okay for the rest of the season, because it seems to be a pretty prolific part of this Slaters offense, and
he was an explosive player as well.
We definitely wish the best for him and hope that things are good.
That's a short bunt. Only about a 15-yard net on that. The Terriers will start off on their own side of the field here at the 49-yard line. That's about the worst case scenario on that punt for Fairhaven.
Yeah.
They really needed to get something down the field there, trying to change that momentum, swing it down to a long end for the Terriers. Right now, if you're Bellows Falls, what's the reason you wouldn't run right tackle with Jaden Bazin right now?
We talked about some play calling in the first half, where we thought we were in a great spot up here on top of this hill on this beautiful football field at Bellows Falls, and Coach Lockery pulled some stuff out of the hat, and it worked for him. So I'm not going to question anything.
Nope.
They've dialed it up when it's been needed tonight.
1st and 10 for the Terriers. Lisai under center. Fake sweep and hands it off to Connors. Connors' ball might be on the ground here. Can't quite tell. Yep, Fairhaven ball. Fumble on the ground there. So that's a little bit of a momentum killer for the Terriers. Still with a significant lead here, and the defense has been rolling. But now the Terriers are going to face a fairly short field trying to stop what could be an explosive Slaters offense.
And again, 3:44 to go, and you wonder, what makes you not want to go back to this, even Connors or Bazin to this right side. That's been,
it's been tough yards on that left side.
Bazin's got to be nearing 300, I would assume, on the ground at this point.
He's got 2 or 3 60-yard runs. Adams has a little time here.
They got a hold.
Oh, it's going to be intercepted by Pat Connors. Connors picks it off and brings it back down. So another big momentum change.
This will be declined by the Terriers. This is going to be holding on the Slaters here on this side. Yeah, it's going to be declined.
So that's a huge defensive play. Pat Connors in 2 straight weeks.
We mentioned it, right? The duo that does it on offense does it on defense.
Yep. Yeah, last week he had the 92-yard return where he went 2-yard line to 2-yard line.
Yeah.
And I know you gave his dad a little ribbon about, about the conditioning.
I got a chance to talk to Patty after the game a little bit too, and we ramped up the cardio this week, and made sure he got the treadmill up to 10 speed.
You got to get the pay dirt if you go over 90 yards.
Yeah, we got the treadmill up to 10 speed. Get it off 7.
You don't want someone else taking that touchdown then.
But unbelievable.
Great play by Pat Connors. He seems to step up and make big plays a lot for this Terriers team when they need it. That's just the type of guy you need. I know you've talked about his leadership skills to me a lot, and boy, he stands out there. Leasai on the option here to Jaden Bazin. Bazin with a big stiff arm. Lowers his shoulder.
Still
hits up
won't
another
go down.
2-3 yards and still isn't down. Wow. He's a physical back, mate.
Yeah, it's so tough.
You coached him when he was younger. Was he this physical?
Yeah, he's
all the time?
always been this way. Having the opportunity to coach him and being an opportunity to grow up a little bit around him with my son Morgan and some of these guys, Jacob Kissel, Timmy Fletcher. All these guys are just unbelievably great kids, and Basin's just he's got it all.
He's a great athlete.
Yeah.
3 sports. I know he played varsity baseball, basketball, football as a freshman. That's really unheard of in a lot of schools. They're going to go off this right guard here with Patty Connors. Another great stiff arm. Got through that first level there. A nice hole opened by Ernst and Lovell again. And boy, they are just absolutely pushing people around right now. Stephen James gets up there, hits the linebacker after the hole's opened by Ernst and Lovell. And that right side, they can do what they want right now.
Yeah, and I don't care if it's the short side of the field or not. You just keep doing it. I mean, it's they can't seem to stop it. And back to Connors with the run right there. Like, leadership is hard to make, and when you're born with it, you're born with it. And Pat Connors absolutely is born with it. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you've talked glowingly about him since you and I started working together, and boy, it shows up out there. Just you can just tell he's a leader just naturally.
Yeah, the kind of all the tools, right? Great baseball player, plays basketball.
And of course, he grew up playing with these guys here, even though he goes to Vermont Academy. He's from Charlestown, but he grew up playing in the Bellows Falls Pee Wee League, so he knows all these guys. And he's an absolute phenomenal athlete.
I mentioned earlier this season I had an opportunity to coach him for basketball, and he was a captain on my basketball team as a sophomore on the varsity team, because I always said if you can outwork Pat Connors, we're always going to be good.
Right. And I can certainly see where you would have come up with that, watching him here week in and week out for the Terriers. Leasai under center, hands it off to Bazin. Bazin right off the right guard there. That was just a huge hole opened up by the Terriers offensive line again for Bazin to just kind of power through.
First down after first down. Now you're going to start to get this.
Stephen James puts his helmet on a guy after Lovell pushed 2 guys downhill there. Stephen James comes and clears it out after Lovell opens it up, and Bazin runs for another first down.
A touchdown here puts you in a really good position to going into the fourth quarter, Joe.
Absolutely.
To where now when you get the ball back, even if you get the ball back with 10 minutes, 9 minutes, 8 minutes, you let that back judge put his hand up and you run that thing right down.
And you pick up your 3, 4, 5 yards at a whack and just keep going as you can. Stephen James, that's Pat Connors on the carry. I thought it was Stephen James at first, but it's Connors. Going to pick up a couple more yards. Like, Connors hasn't, in the beginning of the game, he had some of the explosive plays, but since then it's just been a lot of tough yards for him.
Yeah, I think they kind of switched it up, right? Connors was hitting that same side that Basin has been hitting, and making those big plays. And now, Connors is digging in and fighting for those hard yards that Basin was fighting for in the first half. And
both credit, man, they fall forward every time. They're not falling backwards when they get hit. It's something you taught at a very young age, and you can see just how the fundamentals are taught here in Bellows Falls when you see simple things like that happen every single time.
And it's another week where we look out here and see that the Fairhaven Slaters, as they wait for the Terriers to come out of the huddle, all with their hands on their hips.
Waiting for the water to come out. Little counter play there to Bazin, but it's going to get blown up in the middle. That was Silva getting through center left guard hole there to kind of blow that one up.
John Hutchins and big number 69, Porter Silva on the stop.
Haven't called Silva's name a lot here in the second half. He's definitely, when they've gone right side, he's been blocked on that right side. He hasn't been much of a thing there, but that time he managed to get through that hole. But what a third quarter, Nate, for the Terriers. I mean, we came in here, it was 27-22 to start the half. It's now 46-27 in favor of the Terriers, a 19-point lead from a 5-point deficit. So 24 unanswered points there in that third quarter. 3 scores, I believe all 3 were Jaden Bazin touchdowns. And then I think he had one of the 2-point conversions and Patty Connors had the other ones. It was a clinic in the third quarter of Bellows Falls executing their game plan.
That's one of the best quarters of football we've seen. I know they had a road game at North Country this year where they had a pretty productive first half, scoring 40 points. But when you can put something that dominant together after what was one of the better first halves of football that we've seen all season, big plays, back and forth, guys making plays, guys making tackles, play after play after play. We get to halftime and you and I are taking a breath up here, having some water, going, wow, that was exciting. The Terriers just took the air right out of the Slater sideline over there with an unbelievable third quarter by everyone.
After
Timmy
the
Fletcher
Slaters scored at the end of the first half, where you thought maybe that was a momentum change because they got the ball coming out to start the half, the Terriers said no. And you're right, Timmy Fletcher, Colton Colburn making big plays on special teams. The offensive line has been dominant. Patty Connors and Jaden Bazin have been unbelievable. And Declan Lisi, yet again, just leading the team as a leader. He's making the calls, he's getting the guys in the right places, he's doing everything he needs to do to put this team in a position to win.
That's the leadership. It's great, Tostrip, one of those guys.
Yep,
we talked about outside linebacker, pushing his guy out, can't stretch the play. Cahill can't get the 25-yard gain. It's a 4-yard gain. Guys making initial tackles at the line of scrimmage. Missed a few, but the tackling tonight for Bellows Falls has been unbelievable compared to last week.
They're going to get Bazin in the backfield there, so it's going to be a fourth and 10, 4th and 11 here. See what the Terriers come up with here. Looks like they're going to go for it. Not going to try a field goal here.
I think went down a distance mattered a ton more. Clock stops on change of possession anyways.
Yep.
I wouldn't.
And this is a long
again.
Field. This is a long field here if you don't get
I don't hate that. I don't hate that wheel route to the corner by Patty Connors. We're not going to see it here because of the formation, but I wouldn't hate that wheel route to the corner that he ran.
It's absolutely wide open over there. Lisi puts it on the ground. Looked like they were trying to sneak out a pass here over the corner. It's going to go down on the ground. Lisi recovers it, but it's still going to be a turnover on down, so Slater's ball. 11 minutes to go, 19-point lead. So the Terriers' defense has been phenomenal here in the second half. Let's see if they can keep that momentum going.
Still 11 minutes to go. We've seen the big playability. Don't sleep on it.
Yep.
Because you fall asleep on a play or two, a turnover or something happens. This is right back into being a ball game. So you can't fall asleep here if you're the Terriers.
You guys on your outside, they got to wrap up those tackles if the catch is made. A lot of pressure there. And it's a bad throw based on the pressure. In the backfield there were 3 guys around Adams as he threw that ball. Reed Hill on the coverage here. Reed Hill's had a nice night on coverage.
That gave him some big plays early, and
But he's had some nice coverage here in the second half. He made a big tackle that kind of changed the momentum and gave him a big stop there. 2nd and 10 with 11 minutes to go. Adams in the shotgun again. He's got 3 wide to the right here. Oh, he's down. He's going down this time. That's a gang of Terriers there. Briar Barnett, Rylan Ernst, Connor Perry. 3-4 guys in there, but those are the guys I'm seeing around there, and they absolutely jumped that snap count and got right to him. Briar Barnett has had a very nice game defensively tonight.
Yeah, he's done a nice job for them all season long.
3rd and 18 here for the Slaters. The Terriers run out Garrett Haskell there to give him a fresh pass rusher on this 3rd and long play. We got a false start on the Slaters here, so let's go push it back another 5 yards. Well, I know earlier we didn't think down and distance mattered too much, but certainly right now it does.
It's a long way to go here.
3rd and 23, deep in your own end zone, trailed by 19. This could be 3rd and 50 at this point.
Keep them in front of you and make the tackle.
Absolutely.
I don't care if they get a first down or not. As soon as they set the chains, the clock starts, right?
Yep.
This is where the time on the clock is going to matter. You're down to 10 minutes. Make the tackles.
motion for the Slaters here. Adams has 4 on the right side wide. Connors comes through, gets up and taps that ball away. It's picked up by Jaden Bazin. Boy, Jaden played a great job in center field right there.
Yeah, he baited him right into that thing.
He absolutely baited him into that throw where he thought he had Cahill, and then Bazin just came underneath and just snagged it out of the air. Well, you mentioned they both had 2 interceptions coming in. They got another one each tonight. It doesn't matter offensively, defensively. Those 2 kids, Bazin and Connors, they're playmakers.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky to be able to get to watch this up here.
Absolutely.
It's you don't get a team and especially a tandem like that just gets after it every single play. And he baited Adams right into that throw. He saw it over the middle and he waited.
Till the ball was in the air and then he broke.
Again, 4th interception for Bazin.
What kind of instincts to have as a sophomore to do that, though? Unreal. Unbelievable intelligence as an athlete there. It's going to be Connors up the middle for about 7 yards there. Going to bring up a 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4 for the Terriers. Connors is running hard here. He's going to end up with 100, 150 yards tonight.
He's going to be around 150.
He's going to be a little sore, I think.
150 or so.
He might be a little sore from this one. He's taken the brunt of a lot of hits on that interior tonight.
And again, with 9 minutes to go, this is where it's, hey, listen, we're going to take this thing down and we're going to take as much time as we can at every single play.
Absolutely. We've seen the Terriers run 6-7 minutes off the clock routinely on drives this year.
Even
they'd be fine doing that right now.
Even from the 40-yard line, And this is where we got it. We got it right here. Leesi's waiting for the back judge to stick his hand up. Perfect.
Leesi's under center. He's got James, Bazin, and Connors behind him. Bazin's going to run it right up the middle, pick up another 8 yards, another first down for the Terriers. Keep the clock moving, keep the chains moving. Although the chains stop till they set the yardage, and then it starts back up again.
Yeah, so it's why. So this is, the Terriers can take this right down to a minute left in the game, and punch one in. And
this is like we talked about. Their offensive linemen train all season for this moment to finish this game out. Whether it's the starters, the guys that are the backups, or the JV guys, they all work the same effort to finish these games strong, and they all take pride in that.
That's the conditioning. First time all year the Terriers had to play 4 quarters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone. And there's nobody out there.
And they certainly
looks like
came
they're sucking wind.
They certainly came out in the second half and just purely dominated this one. Patty Connors looking for the corner. Big stiff arm again, gets the corner. He's going to get about 15 yards on that carry for another first down for the Terriers. Gets pushed out of bounds. It's another nice run by Pat Connors on the outside there.
When we talk about the pad level and just the pure ability, I don't know how many times the stiff arms. You're going to have Slaters with sore necks tomorrow.
We've seen a lot of them tonight. They've been really good.
Bazin and Connors, time after time, with the hand in the face, just shoving guys to the ground.
Yep. That time they went off the left tackle where they had Tostrup and Cam Perry over here on the left side. Nice little run off the left side there. Tostrup's done a great job on the blocking here tonight, as well as defensively keeping guys inside.
Yeah.
Leesi waits for the 10-second countdown. Terriers will line up 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line here. Leesi is going to keep this one. Leesi picks up, 8-9 yards there, close to another Terriers first down.
Great play call to get Leesi a little bit of yardage tonight.
It's really impressive what Leesi does as a leader for this team, Nate.
It's been since the first quarter of the Windsor game. He's that guy.
He has everyone under control. It's really fascinating how well he does run this offense. 7 minutes to go here. Terriers absolutely in no hurry. 2nd down, 4 yards to go. Standard set here for the Terriers with James behind Leesi, Bazin behind him, and Connors off to the left. Leesi takes the snap. It's going to go to Bazin right up the middle.
Oh, man.
Bazin picks up another first down. He's down about the 5-yard line, and this is the point of the game where all those physical hits from the linemen and all those stiff arms, the Slaters are worn down.
They're having trouble getting back to the line of scrimmage here. Again, don't blame them. Put up a huge battle. Won the first half. Won the first quarter. Won the first half. again, I think, as we said, hoping that, Caleb Long is good to go for the rest of the season. But since that point of the game, the Terriers have been unstoppable.
They've definitely shown their endurance here, their ability to finish out games, just more physical as they come to the end here. Pat Connors is going to get in this time, I think. Yep, there's the arms up. Patty Connors goes in. Terriers go up 52 to 27 with 6 minutes to go. Well, we've seen some great offensive outputs from this Terriers team. This is a very good Fairhaven defense, and they have run roughshod over them.
It's impressive. To
Once
say the
they
least.
found that rhythm, Nate.
You're getting to a point where you run out of things to say about just how awesome it is to watch this entire unit go out there, break the huddle, put their hands down, and it's, okay, me versus you, let's go, and they dominate.
Yep. Coach Lockerby is a little upset. They had to take a timeout there to get the kicking block onto the field. Canberry's going to try to kick the extra point for the Terriers. Booted 1 or 2 last week right through the uprights.
Only thing that Coach Lockerby's probably been upset with the second half is the kicking block not being ready on the extra point. 6 minutes to go.
I would say whatever he challenged this group to do at halftime, they did. Whatever he put out in front of them and said, you got to do this, you got to do this, we got to do this better, I would say they did it.
No, we don't. Again, back to that just full-on leadership from having 20-something football players.
Right.
They knew what to do. They knew what they had to do, and it was, put up or shut up, and they came out and put up.
Yep.
And took this game completely away from Fairhaven.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can speak so much about the leadership of Lisa, of Connors, of Jocelyn, of everyone on that offensive line. They all want the same result. They all work the same. They all work as hard. They all feed off each other. It's a remarkable effort that they put forward. What a program Coach Lockerby and his staff have this year.
Every week, hey, let's say, we have an opportunity to, reach out to coaches or reach out to these other staffs, and, we don't have to ask what your game plan is. Your game plan is to stop the run.
Yep.
Good luck.
Right.
That's
How
all
are
I
you
can
going to do
tell
it?
you.
No one's done it for, 50 years now?
I mean,
Outside of a few years where they might have thrown the ball a little bit more, but for the most part, it's been this offense since I was in school.
yeah,
Johnny Ostrowski and Josh Albee ran this style of offense.
This group's pretty special. You got a lot of moving parts that go into those 11 guys that break that huddle every single snap, and it's fun to watch.
And it's the culture too. I mean, I speak to having gone to a couple preseason practices, and I've never seen a group where all the veterans on the team were showing the young guys how to do it to the point where the coaches didn't have to be involved. They took leadership on their own to do it. And it was absolutely amazing. Jocelyn with another great boot there. Colburn misses the tackle. Number 19 steps up and makes another play here for the Terriers.
Another tackle.
That's Brody Davignon. He's had a nice game tonight. Couple tackles. I think we had a pass breakup.
Yeah.
Last week we had an interception for Springfield. Some unsung heroes in tonight's game. Timmy Fletcher with the fumble recovery. That was an absolute momentum changer.
Big game changer. Makes the hit and then makes the recovery.
Absolutely. And Colton Colburn on a great tackle on special teams kickoff down there to get that ball. It's been an unbelievable effort from a lot of guys tonight, not just the names we normally call out.
And let's just hope that right now they can finish it.
Right.
This 0 points allowed in the second half right now. I'd like to see the Terriers keep it that way.
And I think they would too. After giving up 27 in the first half, I don't think that's something they thought they'd do all season. Adams takes the
Terriers playing
snap.
some zone coverage right now. Help over the top.
A couple guys pressure. I'm going to get it out here. Quick little pass for about 6 yards out to Brady New.
First man makes the tackle.
Yep. And then it was just a gang tackle from there.
Wind the clock. This is what Terriers are looking for. But don't break what you're doing.
And you're right. The Terriers, they don't have a hand on their hips, Nate. Nothing.
If your MO is to make the tackle again, 8 yards isn't 28. Keep doing it.
And you've stuck to that all night, Nate. You've said stick to what you're doing because it's what you do best. And there were times in the offensive on the first half where they could have panicked and done something different. But they did exactly what you said, stuck to what they do best. And here it is, stop it.
Yep.
And they couldn't stop it all night long.
And now they've adjusted. Players are making the plays that they need to make. No more big plays. You know, again, Adam struggled a little bit here in the second half with some overthrows, some underthrows.
Yeah.
A little bit of the changed offense, but you know the Terriers zone defense back here with James making a big play, Bays and Connors with interceptions, and here comes
that's 55 getting in there for the
Haskell.
sack. Garrett Haskell. That's his second or third sack of the season. He's almost a little pass rush specialist for this team as he comes in and gets opportunities. Absolute phenomenal effort here from the Terriers in the second half. It does speak to how well they're coached to do exactly as you said and just keep executing the game plan regardless. Down 11, down 10.
The tempo, right? We haven't seen it all year. Slater's come out, tempo. Hey, we're gonna fire a pass. No huddle. Huddles are getting the tempo's a little slower. Guys are struggling a little bit here.
Yep. Gonna get Cahill out here. Bays is gonna push him out of bounds. And then in the second half, we just saw the absolute overpowering of the offensive line. They found that sweet spot on the right side with having Ernst and Tostrup and Lovell over there, and then have Bazin run out that right side with James out in front of him. And it just, Fairhaven didn't have an answer.
Right, and I don't know that the Terriers give out their practice or the award player. Hey, player of the game for this Friday night's game, Timmy Fletcher. Right?
Yeah.
Absolute game changer.
Yeah, that was huge.
I mean, look,
it won't even show up in the box score.
We've seen everything else, but just
great play by Saul James there. Makes the tackle there right at the stick. Just what you're supposed to do after he catches it. But yeah, you're right. Timmy Fletcher made probably the play of the game at that time.
It absolutely went from being down 6 up, and then it's been an onslaught by the Terriers ever since.
And it changed the energy on the sidelines and everything else. Good coverage there by the Terriers. Is that Goyette and Reed Hill on that side, or is that James and Reed Hill? Nope, that's Bazin and Reed Hill over there. Nope, Bazin's getting up a little limpy. Oh no, it's Goyette, isn't it?
That's Bazin.
That is Bazin.
Coming off.
Bazin's coming off a little ankle.
They get caught up.
Yep.
They get caught up under there.
3 minutes, 50 seconds to go. We'll get them. We'll get them over here.
Those stingers, sting a little bit. Yeah, maybe got a cramp in there. Yeah, looks like a cramp. Good place for him. Take your helmet right off, kid. You earned it.
Yeah, heck of a game out of Jaden tonight. Pat Connors on the pressure. Pat Connors and 56.
Garrett Haskell again.
Ben Rumrell. Oh, is that 55, not 56? That was Haskell. All right. Oh, 56, yeah. That was Rumrell. Yeah, Pat Connors came in right in his face, and then right from the backside, Rumrell got him. So Connors has a sack, an interception, 3 scores, 150 yards. Unbelievable game.
Yeah, Bazin looks fine over here. He's rolling a cramp out right now. Take your helmet off, kid. You should just be done for today.
Adams is chucking it deep. Reed Hill, step for step, knocks it away. Great play.
Coverage.
Great play. I mean, the guy got his hands on it, but Reed Hill was right there, turned around, knocked it right out of his hands. Couple big plays in the first half, but Reed Hill really stepped up in the second half.
The pass defense in general.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
No points.
Very few completions. Certainly nothing downfield. Yeah, Reed Hill, Goyette, Jaden Bazin, Pat Connors, Saul James done a great job here in the second half in that coverage. It's helped to have Haskell and Rumrell, Lovell and Connor Perry and all those guys getting pressure here in the second half.
The best part about what you just said, Joe, you listed everyone.
Yeah.
Because it's a team game, and this is how they play.
Yeah, it is. And it's different guys tonight, and it's been exciting to see these different guys make the plays. And it's really exciting to see how excited the team gets when these other guys make the plays that aren't on the field all the time.
First time in many weeks that we've seen this sideline over here. Headbutts, high fives, butt slaps, guys hugging each other. This
was a team win.
It's good to see the sideline getting some juice going.
So with the big stop there, the Terriers will come out with 3 minutes left in the game. They're just going to look to run the clock out here, do what they do, try to take this down to 0 seconds, and walk away here 5-0.
Yeah, 1 first down ends the game right here. I don't foresee anybody. There's no need for any timeouts or anything fancy here. A couple of handoffs, first down,
Yep.
victory formation. Let's call it a day.
After this, Nate, the Terriers hit the road 3 straight weeks. A lot of traveling the next 3 weeks.
We don't know how Linden made out tonight or if they're tomorrow afternoon, but 4-0. Linden's also an undefeated team.
I think Linden beat Fairhaven 14-13 early in the season. I think one of the first 2 games was Linden over Fairhaven.
Cahill was out for that game, second game of the year. So
Yep. And Linden's pretty much way up north as well, right? It's almost up there with North Country.
not quite that far,
Okay.
St. J area.
Okay.
But it's a good trip. And that's another one the Terriers probably had circled. Lost there, lost a tough game to them last year.
Yep. And then they'll hit Mount Mansfield and Woodstock to finish the season. So it'll be a couple weeks before we're back here. Hopefully for the first round of the
Terriers
playoffs.
will go victory formation here. There's no need to mess around or hand the ball off. We don't need
Risk an
anything.
injury.
No, there's no need. Even if you had to punt, doesn't matter what fourth down is at this
Right.
point, anyways.
Get out of here healthy, take the victory, go home, hit the ice bath, celebrate a little bit. Bunch of guys going to go home happy tonight. Bunch of guys contributed to this victory tonight, and everyone on that sideline should hold their head high. This is one they had circled, and they wanted to execute. First half, a little scary. But man, did they come out and respond in that second half to whatever challenges were out there.
Once again, the rushing attack between Bazin and Connors, 500 yards.
Easily.
It seems like it happens every week.
Yep. And this was an impressive one. It came out of nowhere, too. Just all of a sudden, they were racking up the yards, racking them up. Sideline's still extremely happy down here. Complete team effort in this one tonight.
Brings up a 4th down play.
So they may have to,
A minute to go here.
they're either going to take a knee and turn it over, or they're going to have to punt it away here.
Yeah, they'll take a knee, and I wouldn't see that Fairhaven would come out and try to do anything. They don't
much.
need anybody hurt either, right?
No.
It's just
Get out of here, stay healthy, move on, try to get to your next week. If you're Fairhaven, you're a good football team, so your season's certainly not over.
yeah. Again, I've mentioned it a couple times here in the second half. I'll reach out to Coach Lisai and hope that Long's okay and
Yeah.
he's able to continue the season, because Fairhaven's a tough opponent, Division II for anybody.
Right.
Very good offense, very good coaching staff. They work hard, great numbers. We saw it when we got here today, the amount of kids they got on that sideline over there. Just a great program, year after year after year. They're one of those teams that's always right there.
Yeah, and certainly some exciting players. Cahill made a lot of plays, very exciting player. Adams throws a nice ball. You hit it on the head, though, when Long went out. It made him one-dimensional, too one-dimensional.
It could really change the flow of the game. And
Because he's their traditional running back. Cahill gets the ball in the backfield. He's more like that slot back, quick guy. You try to hit on the counters and the reverse stuff type things.
Fairhaven's going to go with some spread action here. Should have had a legal substitution. They had 12 guys on the field in the huddle, but handoff Wolf.
Handoff to Hutchins, and that's Stephen James just leveling him down at the yard marker.
32, Stephen James.
We haven't said his name a lot on defense tonight, but on offense we've mentioned him quite a bit. He has played a hell of a game on offense.
We haven't even mentioned it as much as we normally do, but such an unsung hero for the way that he hits his holes and chips and gets that. It started a little slow, right?
Yep.
Hey, we got to chip. We got to get this guy. We got to get to the second level. We got to get to the next spot. And that this Terriers team, wow.
You can't say enough about him. It's the last 10 seconds. Go off the clock here.
Beyond impressive.
Absolutely. Big win for the Terriers as they move to 5-0 here, sitting in first place in Division III. I know Mount Abraham, I think, was 4-0 coming into tonight, so we'll see how they do and see if the Terriers still are tied for the lead. But we've talked about it for the last 24 minutes here, Nate. This second half, it was 2 different ball games.
That third quarter is probably some of the best high school football I've seen in a long time. You dominated every aspect. You forced a punt that you haven't had the whole night. You come right down, you get the touchdown, and Timmy Fletcher with the game-changing play.
Yep.
Everybody's juiced up, the sideline's cranked up, and you go right down, Bazin again with another touchdown.
Yep.
And I mean, week after week, Connors and Bazin, you know, called them the dynamic duo to start with tonight. 500 yards again.
Yeah.
Good luck. That's all I can tell you.
Right.
If you come into this field or another field with the other color jersey on, good luck.
You're going to get beat up all night, and you got to tackle two guys that want to run through you.
Great team victory for the Terriers tonight.
All right, and as the Terriers move to 5-0, they move next week on to hopefully go 6-0. Nate and I will join you hopefully back here for the first round of the playoffs when the Terriers get there. And until then, Nate, thanks for joining me tonight. Great job tonight.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, see you guys later.